Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at UENradio.com.
All right, welcome to another edition of Mostly Sports. I am not Mike Scovotti bringing it in. I am Jay Devlin. Mike Scovotti is home taking care of electricians and painters, being an adult, taking care of his new home in Manhattan Beach, being a lord. But I have a guest in studio who's going to co-host with me for about 90 minutes before he has to run off. Brian Drolet.
Thanks for having me.
Actor, comedian, former college basketball star, one of the great white dunkers in the history of the genre.
I appreciate that.
In studio, we're going to chop it up, man. We're going to have a good time. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
It's, you're coming in like perfect timing. NBA Finals just wrapped up.
Wow.
And that was like the most compelling 7 games with storylines.
Well,
everywhere.
I don't know if every game was compelling. It was like blowout, compelling game.
Yes, okay. And even the compelling game was, 93-89. It wasn't like some 115-110 shootout where...
But I tell you, it's setting it up for, I think that, it's going to be like the Lakers versus the Celtics of our day. Unless, LeBron jumps ship and becomes a Laker next season.
Well, he's not. I mean, I don't think he's going. I mean, after he wrote that letter to Sports Illustrated when he left Miami.
Well,
he,
do you know in that letter,
to
Stephen A. Smith pointed out that he actually specifically says, I have to go back and win 1 trophy for Cleveland. He says 1 trophy instead of a trophy or a series of trophies.
Are you really giving fucking LeBron that much credit for, like, you think he's like Littlefinger from Game of Thrones?
He planted a little bread, what is it?
3 years ago, he's crafting this perfect
Breadcrumbs,
letter
yeah.
to give himself outs.
Well, it was also reported that his kids are apparently enrolled to go to school here in the beautiful Brentwood community. So why are LeBron's children going to school in Los Angeles?
I want to see that happen. That does not seem like a very I don't know.
Doesn't it just seem like he'd be like, all right, I want a trophy. He like drops the trophy. He's out. He's like, Dan Gilbert, peace.
Bro, it doesn't matter. Those Cleveland fans, it's not like you win 1 trophy and they'd be like, all right, he came and got us 1 and then he left. No, he would be even like more of an asshole.
But if he does go out now, he's kind of like Jordan retiring before going to the Wizards. It's way better than if he sticks around and then loses with Cleveland a few times and it's like, I should have kind of probably bounced after I won.
Well, I mean, look, the way it's hard, I'm a LeBron, I hate saying hater, but I'm not a LeBron fan at all, and I've ripped the guy at every turn. So it's hard. I will have 0 credibility if I come on the show today and just rip LeBron. All right, because the guy was out of this world.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable. He was a force of nature. I did, for the record, pick Cleveland in 6.
Okay.
So it's on record. It's on tape. I rarely get predictions correct.
I had Warriors in 6, so I was wrong too. So we're both,
I was a little more right than you were, though.
Oh, really? Well, because I predicted
the Cavaliers won.
Warriors would come back from down 3-1 against OKC.
That's a good one.
And I said, I have a feeling, even though I'm choosing the Warriors in 6, in the back of my mind there was a voice saying, LeBron's going to do it this year for the Lamb.
Oh, those voices, man. Those voices have gotten me into a lot of trouble in my life. Well, the Vegas betting line was if you laid $100 on Cleveland at the start of the series, you would have won $185. And when we were breaking the series down before it started, I was just saying that's way too high. It's almost 2-1. If they play this series 10 times, Cleveland's not losing 8 of 10 series. This series is way more even. Obviously, things went Cleveland's way a little bit. Got down 3-1. The Draymond thing.
Wait, things went Cleveland's way? I mean, they were down 3-1. I feel like it didn't go their way.
It went the
Draymond Green call, yeah.
Andrew Bogut.
That's true. That's true.
Anytime you have to put Anderson Varejao into a game, that is not good.
Floppy McGee, Floppy McFlopperson.
Sideshow fucking Bob.
Yeah, seriously. But I agree, but then since Cleveland won it, Warriors won it last year, and Kyrie and Kevin Love went down, it's kind of like they're both equal now.
Fair point.
And let's see what happens next season.
It's a very, very fair point. And I don't want to be like, I've heard it all day today and all day yesterday, and all these shows I listen to and stuff I read. People just want to poke holes and shit. Bottom line is, in 5 years, nobody cares. Cleveland won. Their names on the trophy. LeBron was out of this world incredible. That block will go down in the annals as literally one of like the most iconic plays, I feel like, in the history of the league.
That was the most epic block. I mean, just how Steph Curry makes people want to shoot from half court. Now kids just want to block at the top of the backboard. Like I want to do that now.
The speed with which he closed on that,
it was insane.
Was like out of this world.
Well, it was like he basically palmed the ball and was like, nope.
This is a fun little conversation I'd get into with people at the bar like about 3 years ago. I guess it's probably still kind of relevant. LeBron's a little older, but I said like 3 years ago, if LeBron declared for the NFL draft and said fuck it, like pulls a Michael Jordan.
You mean like Nate Robinson? Isn't
like
he
Nate,
trying to walk on to the Seahawks?
Trying to walk on the Seahawks. But if LeBron was like, look, I'm declaring for the NFL, I'm open for the draft.
You'd be like, okay.
What pick do you think he would have been in the NFL draft 3 years ago?
3 years ago?
Yeah. Let's say at the height of his physical prowess 3 years ago.
Oh, man.
I think he's the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft.
Isn't that insane? I mean,
he'd be the greatest red zone wide receiver of all time.
Well, even if he wasn't that great, he's going to be good enough, and he's LeBron James just from a marketing standpoint, although that didn't really work out for Tebow.
He's a better Calvin Johnson. He's a bigger, stronger, faster Calvin Johnson.
Listen, I don't dispute it. I think if LeBron said, I want to go to the NFL, I think there'd be plenty of people wanting to draft him, potentially, number 1.
I think he would be the greatest soccer goalie of all time.
Oh, gosh.
Like I always said this. If you could take NBA stars and teach them how to play soccer, Iverson would be Messi.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Dude, you throw like DeAndre Jordan in goal. Who the fuck is scoring on DeAndre Jordan? Nobody. Come on.
Maybe
dude.
that's what you could start a business, transitioning from the NBA to soccer, because, a 40-year-old basketball player who can't run up and down the court anymore might be able to just stand in goal and block some balls.
He can stand in goal. Look at that. Jarvis puts up all this great stuff. Like he puts up stuff on the screen.
Oh, okay, cool.
So he was 7 feet behind. He was at 21 feet. Iguodala was at 14 feet. Made up 7 feet in like a nanosecond.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's just – and listen, I'm not a big LeBron fan, mostly because of the way he left Cleveland, and then, he just rubbed me the wrong way. But then once he won, once you just kind of had that realization of everybody watching that game of, oh, my God, he came back to this team and in less than 2 years won them a championship. All of a sudden, any sort of hating on LeBron that I may have ever had, it just like melted away. And I was just kind of like, I had nothing but to say I respect what this guy just accomplished.
I don't think, but I think for most people, the hating on him had nothing to do with his game necessarily. I mean, there's really
not the
no
game.
argument.
It was just the cockiness to on national television dump your old girlfriend and say, and even just to say I'm taking my talents to South Beach.
Yeah.
It's like, can't you just say I'm going to South Beach? You know what I mean? Like when this interview's over, I'm not going to say I'm going to take my hosting. I'm going to take my interview personality out of here. I'm saying goodbye.
Don't make a spectacle of it.
Yeah,
like you're like you said, you're breaking up with your girlfriend on national television.
Yeah,
like
have
you
a
don't,
little courtesy there.
Yeah, let her know first.
Let her know.
That was the worst part about it. But I was, in hindsight, if you look at like the trajectory of his decision making, it was like, so he gets drafted, goes to Cleveland. Cleveland hadn't made the playoffs for like 8 or 10 years. They weren't really ready to like have a championship team. They didn't have the infrastructure in place. They didn't have like the smarts to build a team around him. So I don't blame him for going to Miami. It's almost like he graduated high school being playing with the Cavs the first time, and then went to college in Miami where he like learned from Pat Riley, learned with a championship franchise, learned like what you're supposed to do.
But
and
we're
then
also
brought that back to Cleveland.
Adults now. And when he did that, years ago, think about how many people just felt brokenhearted. They didn't have the perspective to be like, okay, I understand intellectually why he's leaving. It was just like, screw that guy, burn the jersey. And I think that kind of transitioned to everyone around the country. Everyone was kind of like, screw that guy.
Yeah.
And now we're all older and wiser, and we forgive you. Not only do we forgive you, LeBron, but
well, you're from Cleveland. If you're from Cleveland, you don't have much to hold on to. And then like you're from fucking Cleveland.
I have this other theory too. Like if he never had tattoos and didn't have the self-proclaimed, nickname, the chosen one, and King James and all this stuff, you probably wouldn't be as hard on the guy. You'd be like, all right, it's almost like Dwayne Wade was like the good boy version of LeBron. No tats, no crazy nicknames other than the Flash, which Shaq gave him.
Although I've said on the show a few times, I've read some stuff that said he gave people herpes.
Who did?
Dwayne Wade.
Oh, Dwayne Wade?
Yeah.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
well, You just dropped Dwayne Wade down a peg really quickly.
And Dwayne Wade also left his high school sweetheart, who he has like 3 kids with, for Gabrielle Union.
Oh, wow.
Did I just break everything up for Dwayne Wade for you?
You just broke the illusion of Dwayne Wade up for me completely.
Well, right now, Jarvis is frantically Googling Gabrielle Union. I know it. There's a hot Gabrielle Union picture.
She hasn't aged a
up.
day. She looks identical.
She's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to be in the body issue this year, so you'll be able to check
I gotta
him out.
say, I saw on ESPN's Instagram. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh. I'm like, why is Dwayne Wade naked? What is happening right now? Why is he doing that? And he's like this. He's like all stretched out, and it's like I'm sorry, but I don't see the need for the body issue starring D. Wade. I could have done without it as a basketball fan.
It's always interesting choices. The Elena Delle Donne, you know who she is? She's like the 6'7" star of the WNBA.
Okay.
She's going to be in it.
So it's just going to be a bunch of naked athletes.
Oh, yeah, but Google this. I'll deep dive Google that when it comes out.
You know there's going to be one person who doesn't quite pull it off.
There's Gabrielle Union.
And it's Anderson Varejao.
No, Vince. Dude. Oh, my God.
The curtains match the drapes or whatever.
Dude, he doesn't even deserve to be in, fucking Penthouse Forum.
They don't even have a blur for him. It's just it looks like his head just below his... Okay, anyways.
Vince Wilfork's going to be in it.
I don't even know who Vince Wilfork is.
He's like the nose guard for he played for the Patriots and the Texans. He's huge. He's like 375 pounds.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Big boy.
Damn.
Very big boy.
Hey, man. All sizes and shapes.
There you
nowadays.
go. There's D. Wade.
Oh, my God. It's I just don't like that.
The airbrush was in full effect.
Just I don't want to see my childhood, NBA heroes all naked. Just naked.
All right, back to the series though. All right, so like you said, blowouts, this, that, back and forth. The Draymond suspension, the Bogut getting injured, Steph Curry being a little bit hurt. We're not going to take away from Golden State winning it. Outside of the series, how about Ayesha Curry? What did you think about did you follow all the tweets she was making?
I know everything and anything that I know that Draymond Green had spaghetti and meatballs before he played.
Okay.
Or that was Kyrie Irving actually. But yeah, I'm a big NBA nerd, so the Ayesha Curry thing I knew about right away because I'm constantly seeing what's trending. That's the new thing now is you just go to search. You don't even have to do the searching anymore. It tells you these are the things happening.
On Twitter.
Yes, Twitter, Facebook, and Ayesha Curry. I saw what she tweeted. As soon as I saw it, I knew she was going to be in hot water for it. I also find the media super annoying how they jump on it. It's just so obvious it's a guy's wife in the heat of the moment, emotional. It's not a story. It's not a big deal. Stephen A. Smith didn't need to go on his whole rant. And it's just he did rise above it by just kind of deading it when he reacted to Ayesha, who reacted to him. But yeah, I thought it was, she's a wife rooting for her husband.
That's exactly what it is.
And she's gorgeous. I love her to death.
She's fantastic, dude.
Their whole family, though.
Everybody wants the ride or die chick. The chick says, "Oh, this is my girl, Bonnie and Clyde. We're a team. We're together." I thought it was awesome what she did, and it just added to the storylines because, like you said, it wasn't like every game. This was not as well played of a series as I thought it would be. Going into it, you're thinking 110, 105 games, guys making a lot of threes. It's beautiful basketball.
Well, it made me think how integral coaches are.
Yeah.
Because I thought like you that it would be so much closer and down to the wire. I don't think one game was ever down to the wire. The Game 7 was the closest.
That's
and even
it.
That they pulled away.
Yeah, it was tied with a minute to go.
Yeah, but what I mean is it didn't come down to a last-second shot.
Yeah,
but definitely was the closest of the. I wanted to see a fight, to be honest with you. I'm sick of how, politically correct the NBA has become. Even if there was a fight, I feel like they wouldn't show it. I think a fan rushed in Game 6, rushed the court and rushed LeBron, and they wouldn't show it.
Really?
Yeah, and so I want to see that stuff.
I wonder if LeBron can fight. Again, he's a physical specimen. If I drop him in the Kumite in Bloodsport, how's he gonna do against Chong Li or Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Chong Li. He's gonna be the next Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Remember that? He was in the Bruce Lee movies and stuff.
Well, yeah, I forget which one that was. Where he's Bruce Lee's got to fight all the people on the different levels of the thing, and then he fights Kareem at the top.
Not Enter the Dragon.
Well, that's the only one I know, I think. So.
A crazy fact? Most people don't know this. Do you know that Bruce Lee actually never drank water?
That doesn't even make sense. Really?
Yeah, no. Instead, he drank water.
That was We're gonna get into your stand-up career.
I'm
here
sorry,
shortly.
that is not what. That's
That
like
was
a
a good
meme
one.
I read somewhere.
Dude, I think you had me on the edge of my seat. I was very curious as to what you were gonna say.
That's what I was going for there.
That was. So the other thing about this is Kyrie. All right?
Unbelievable.
That was the difference. I mean, LeBron. I said it 2 weeks ago when they were down 2-0. When this fucking series has been going on for a month and a half. It feels like. I said they need to get back to LeBron being a force of nature. LeBron throwing up ridiculous stat lines, and he did. He started doing that. But the big difference between last year and this year was Kyrie Irving. He was Steph Curry.
Yeah.
He's what we thought Steph Curry was going to be this series.
Kyrie Irving was what Kevin Love and J.R. Smith are supposed to be combined. You know what I mean? He was making up for the lack of what other people weren't doing. And it just like you said, yeah, he was basically being the superstar that Steph Curry has been. And I think a lot of people, like I think Russell Westbrook, Kyrie, I think all these guards that see him getting, an unanimous MVP and all this adulation and contracts and exposure, they're just kind of like got to be silently stewing, being like, screw that, I'm coming at him come game time. And I know, Kyrie's been such a stud his whole career, really. I mean, never really was able to get Cleveland over the hump before LeBron got there. But now that he's got that opportunity, I'm not surprised Uncle Drew is shining.
I would say that was the biggest shock. I mean, we all know Kyrie can score. He's got maybe the best handle in the league. Him and Curry are probably 1 and 1A as far as handle goes.
Yep.
The thing that helped Kyrie in this series, I think, was like Kevin Love, getting the concussion, and his minutes being a little limited.
That was his best contribution.
That was his best contribution for sure. And it was just Tyronn Lue basically. It felt like just said, look, just go score. Don't worry about you don't have to get Kevin Love involved anymore, because before it's like, you kind of got to get Kevin his touches. You got to get No, Kyrie, just go score the basketball. And he did it.
My favorite thing that I heard him say that he said that LeBron told him was that LeBron came up to him, I think after game 2 or something, and just said, from here on out, me or you need to affect every single play, like every play of every possession you or I needs to have a huge impact on.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that LeBron, because in so many other years against the Celtics or whoever it is, Spurs he's played, I just feel like he becomes too, I'm like Magic Johnson and I'll pass it to a guy. No, he finally did what all of his haters and critics wanted him to do, which was take over a series, enforce his will, and he did that. And then Kyrie completely was, Robin to his Batman, and even better than Robin, we'll say.
Yeah, I mean, the shots he was making, his shot making, we know he can shoot the ball. His finishes around the basket were incredible. And on the flip side of that, Curry, a guy who shoots, I believe, something around the neighborhood of like 66% inside the painted area, shot 47% in this series against the Cavs. He wasn't able to get inside and finish buckets that Kyrie was. And Kyrie, fitting, hits the dagger, the big 3 right in Curry's face.
That was huge. That was so in his own house.
In his own house. It was a microcosm for the whole series, because the series changed. When the series changed was when they started really going at Steph defensively. You could kind of feel it like, like you're playing pickup in the park and there's like one weak link and you always like, all right, give the ball to whoever that guy's guarding.
And it's funny that guy was the back-to-back unanimous MVP. I mean, I guess it makes you wonder how much of an injury is he not talking about? Is he injured? Because he definitely seemed not the Curry you'd watched all season long. But then you go, well, or is that just discrediting the Cavs and their defense? I think it's a little of both.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of both. I mean, the Cavs, I don't know. I thought after the OKC series, because there's no Steven Adams, there's no Ibaka, there's nobody really guarding the rim for Cleveland. It's like, man, these guys are just going to get to the bucket. In the first 2 games, they were getting backdoor buckets. They were getting easy layups. And, kudos to the Cavs for turning that around. I mean, Tyronn Lue is, his stock couldn't be higher.
That guy, man. I still think of him as a player. It makes me feel old knowing that he's the coach of this team. But I'm liking seeing all the players that I grew up watching more and more getting into the other side with Chris Webber, Shaquille O'Neal, all those guys. So I'm glad that, good for him, man.
I'm a big Jalen Rose guy.
I love Jalen Rose. I actually
Love
played in a
Jalen.
softball league with him, and every time I would get up to bat, I used to have like the longer, shaggier hair, and he would always go, "Bieber, bring everybody in for Bieber."
Bieber.
And I was like, I thought it was funny because I loved that. I was such a huge basketball fan. I'm like, I love this guy's roasting me at home plate. This is great.
He plays in our little Saturday run occasionally.
Oh, okay.
Over in
really?
the marina.
Nice.
And he's exactly the way, like, he's one of those. I think he is who he is all the time, whether there's a microphone in front of him or not. He roasts everybody all the time on the court, whether you're on his team or not on his team.
See, I love it.
He's just making fun of you.
He does it in a way where you like him. He's not like you're like, screw that guy.
Exactly.
He's roasting me. He's I really like him as an announcer too. I am sad because I'm such a fan of the TNT show, so it was kind of sad to lose that. I would cheat and go over to, I think it was NBA TV that Charles and Shaq were on for a little bit, the first couple games, but it's hard to watch.
It's a shame those guys don't get to do the finals.
Yeah, it is. It's a shame. It should totally be Kenny and Ernie and Chuck and Shaq. It'd be good to have those guys in the finals.
In college, so Jalen and I are the same year in college.
Oh, really?
And we're both 91 freshman year.
Okay.
So that Michigan team was like had a profound effect on everybody in that generation. Like the baggy shorts, obviously, all that, all the stuff everybody's talking about.
Infamous timeout.
But my sophomore year, I wore black socks, pulled them up, and I can admit it now, I was kind of a fanboy. I played all my college games with a picture of Jalen Rose.
Shut up.
In my sock.
No, you didn't.
Because
come on, Jalen Rose.
Because he was a big guard, handled the ball, and he was like involved in everything that was going on, and that's kind of how I saw my game.
You had a picture of him.
I did.
I'd
wear it in my sock.
Oh my.
Yeah. So fast forward to like, I don't know, a couple years ago.
You still had the picture in your sock when you played that
that's
pickup
a sweaty
game.
fucking sock, dude. No, I threw it in the wash one day and I lost it, and I probably had a shitty game the next game.
Did you tell him this?
No, I didn't. So fast forward like about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and I played in this run, and the guy that runs it kept telling me like, yeah, like Jalen's supposed to come. He used to play and he's traveling or whatever. So then he hit me up and goes, yo, I got a surprise for you tomorrow. It's probably a year ago actually, and so Jalen showed up, and he knew that I was like a huge fan. Like I'm unapologetic about it. I love the guy.
Sure.
So very first game, Jalen guards me. So I'm like, oh shit! Like I'm playing against my one of my basketball idols.
Yeah.
And no joke, we beat his team like 21-15, and I had 18 of the 21.
What?
And then the rest of the day, he didn't even he refused to even let me shoot. He literally played it just followed. It was like the greatest compliment that he played
sure.
hard as fuck the rest of the day and held the shit out of me.
Oh,
but what am I going to get mad at him?
Yeah.
I was like,
can't help it.
This is fantastic, dude.
So then who won the next game?
Oh, he just started, dude. He took me down on the block and just started shooting jump hooks on me, dude. He's got a big ass. He's like, that was back when he was like a little overweight too. So he was like 250.
The craziest part is when he backed you up, a picture of you fell out of his underwear.
That would have been fitting. And then then he got the restraining order, and he hasn't been back since, dude.
Oh my
That's
God.
the part of the story I was gonna leave out.
That's so funny.
But no, dude, I'm a huge Jalen Rose fan. You're right. I mean, it's cool. It makes us it dates us now that we see these guys we watched up playing in their primes.
It's weird,
Dude, I was watching a college basketball game last year, and I think it was Juwan Howard's son.
Okay.
Was playing for DePaul or something. And I'm like, wow, Juwan Howard has a fucking son playing college basketball, and he was a senior.
I know.
I'm like, I'm old enough to be that guy's father.
I completely, it's crazy how fast time goes. I mean, even having Steve Kerr be the coach of this Warrior team. I mean, I remember watching that 95-96 Bulls team like it was yesterday, and you just snap your fingers and you're like, oh my God, I'm an adult.
I'm a little older than you. I remember the Arizona Steve Curry teams with Sean Elliott, or Steve Kerr teams, where he was he would make a three at home, and the announcer would say Steve, and the crowd would say Kerr.
Oh wow,
very
that's
cool.
Definitely even before me.
I'm an old man, Brian.
Yeah, you look great for your age.
Thanks.
I got to tell you, when you told me when you graduated or college, I did the math. I was like, it doesn't compute. He looks so young.
He looks so young.
His skin is so vibrant.
No
His
stress.
hair is so luscious. Hey, what are you doing later after the show?
You tell me, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, I don't discriminate, man. Cuddling's cuddling.
Cuddling's cuddling. Wow, you got me all flustered now. Where were we? Jalen Rose. I was talking about my man crush, our three-way with Jalen Rose that we got coming up later.
Yeah. Well, speaking of coaches and whatever, I randomly bumped into the ex-coach of the Lakers.
Which one? They have like 7 on payroll right now.
Byron Scott.
Oh God.
He was. It was funny because I saw him. Someone's like, "Hey, you gonna go up to him and talk to him?" And I'm like, "Nah, he's old news. He's old news. We got to move on to Luke, baby, Luke."
Dude, I
What
mean,
do you think about Luke?
I think Luke is in for a rude awakening. Are you? I didn't ask you that. So what? Like, you're from New York.
Yeah.
I was gonna run you down, like give you the whole rundown of you, and we just got into it real quick.
Sure.
You're a New York guy. So you a Knicks fan? You a Nets fan?
I was born and raised Queens, New York, but I've always been a fan of players, and I grew up, and everybody was hardcore Knicks, but I was just obsessed with Michael Jordan. I was that guy.
Okay.
I was the biggest Michael Jordan fan growing up, and I would watch and root for the Knicks, but I always knew I'm like, Jordan's gonna beat these guys.
Yeah.
And so like I said, I was that guy, and then I've moved around a lot. Like I've lived in LA for the last 11 years. I lived in Florida for almost 4 or 5 years. So I'm more of all about players and matchups.
So you haven't been indoctrinated with LA sports, having lived here for so long.
I mean, once I hit the 10-year mark, I was like, okay, I'm a Lakers fan now. We have backstage Lakers. You get all the home games. So there's something about LA, no matter how good the Clippers have gotten, just the Lakers, man. If you live, I feel like if you've lived in LA and you're a fan of basketball, it's kind of hard to fight the desire to just be like, okay, I'm purple and gold now.
It's hard not to get caught up and have an opinion. I agree, because people are I always thought of LA fans as being very apathetic and lackadaisical.
I think they're pretty hardcore, though, actually.
For the Lakers, I think they are.
I think Lakers more than anything. These people love the Lakers out here, and Kobe's like a god. And it's hard not to root for the Lakers over the years, and very easy to not root for the Knicks.
It's Scovotti who I do the show with. He's a huge Knicks fan, and he's giving up. I mean, he keeps trying to give up the Knicks. I don't know who he's going to pick up. But to go back to your Luke Walton question, I think he's in for a rude awakening. I think it's a players' league.
Are you hating on Luke? You're
I'm
hating
not
on
hating
Luke?
on him. I'm just saying, I don't know. Well, if you coached that Warriors team start of the year, I guarantee they probably would have had a pretty similar record. Maybe I'm not giving him enough credit, but that car was driving itself, dude. That was the fucking Google car that drives itself.
I hear that. The Google car, which, by the way, they're coming, self-automated cars.
It's coming.
But I hear you. But I think, the guy played under Phil Jackson. Now he's been a part of the Warriors, which have a proven culture. I think we're going to find out really quick if he's good or not. My gut tells me that he's going to do the job. Maybe I'm in for a rude awakening. But
I mean, here's I'm a Sixer fan, obviously, being from Philadelphia. Brett Brown, coached under Popovich for many years, came from a proven culture, came to the Sixers. If you don't have any players, you can't win. End of story. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with the draft. They're probably going to get Brandon Ingram. The D'Angelo Russell thing is a distraction.
Dude, D'Angelo Russell, I'm sorry. That guy, the second that Nick Young tape went out, I just said, this guy's a cancer on the team. He's got to go, because how do you videotape your teammate? You're a vet. You're a rookie. This guy's a veteran. How do you film it? It's just like all of a sudden you just go, this guy's an idiot. Even the press conference apologizing for it was awkward. You know what I mean?
This kid is I hate his eyebrows. He's got the Vanilla Ice fucking cut eyebrows. Here's the thing. I would be more understanding if an old, let's say a 38-year-old guy, let's say, I'm not going to say Richard Jefferson, because he's mastered social media. His Snapchat is fucking
really
off the
Richard
charts.
Jefferson? Is he all Snapchatty?
His Snapchat is incredible. He Snapchat
Really?
the entire playoffs, all the time. Let's say Andre Miller.
Is it as incredible as his RJ tattoo on his shoulder?
It's
that
even
he
more
must have
incredible.
gotten when he was 16. Every time I see that tattoo,
Very creative tattoo. The
I did
RJ.
a lot of funny things when I was, in high school too.
But like if Andre Miller was having a conversation with a teammate and he was for some reason taping it and then posted, I'd be like, all right, that's just an old man who doesn't understand social media.
Yeah. He's a young kid.
He's a young kid. He knows it more than anybody does.
I guaranteed he did it because he thought it would be funny, and apparently they were playing pranks on each other, and he probably cocky, got a little, Did you hear about that other scandal where Jordan Clarkson, Nick Young,
when they're driving down the street,
and that woman? Like, how much of that do you think is true based on that girl trying to get,
I think that's 100% true. But again, it's like four dudes that are like in their early 20s cruising down Melrose in their G-Wagon,
dollars,
like hollering at some chicks. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, apparently
there's the tattoo.
Yeah,
the RJ tattoo.
That tattoo is like. I mean, come on, man.
I like that he has family on there. This is the guy that left his fiancée at the altar, Richard Jefferson.
Did he
by the way.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Canceled a wedding the day of.
What?
Yeah. Little Richard Jefferson fact for you right there.
That is Richard Jefferson. I met him a few times, actually, because I went to college with David Lee. And David Lee, when he was playing on, I guess, the Warriors, would come down to L.A. I've seen him in L.A., and we always say what's up, and Richard Jefferson was with him. I have no story about it other than I just had met him, and I remembered thinking, this guy's probably going to be good on Snapchat someday.
So you had a sixth sense, man. You knew.
Yeah, I know.
So, no, but it's... Wait, I don't even know what I was talking about. We're talking about Richard... we're talking about D'Angelo Russell.
Oh, yeah.
So they just broke up. We're talking about Luke Walton, D'Angelo Russell. That team is in shambles. Luke Walton is in for a fucking rude awakening. That team will be lucky to win 25 games next year.
Really? 25?
25 games.
Well, speaking of breaking up, this is why I also think D'Angelo Russell is out. Nick Young and Iggy Azalea officially broke up. And it was because of that. So how can they go into a season? You got to get rid of that guy, right? Or you got to get rid of Nick Young. I mean, I don't know why you would keep
Nick Young's gone already.
Oh, is he gone?
Yeah,
already?
he's already gone. They cut ties with him like the day after the season ended.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I was a Nick Young fan, Swaggy P, and then he just, had a season where I was like, this dude must be out partying or something.
He looks like a fucking nightmare to play pickup with. Like, if he showed up at the park and he ended up on your team, I would leave, I think.
He'd shoot every shot.
Yeah.
He's that guy.
And that's coming from a guy, myself, who likes to shoot a lot.
Yeah. Well, you're a great shooter. I got to give it to you.
But, like, you can't – he looks like just a nightmare. He'll find a home in the league, though. He'll make like $9 million next year. Somewhere.
He'll probably be on like the Houston Rockets. He'll take Dwight Howard's spot.
Just if you can shoot
Where's
threes.
Dwight going? Where's Dwight going?
Dwight's not going anywhere.
No, you think he's staying?
He's
no
staying.
way.
100% staying.
Really?
They're not going to blow that up, man. He's incredibly overrated. And in today's NBA, I mean, the whole foul shooting thing, and he's a shell of himself.
It's kind of sad, honestly. His career and it was also awkward. Did you see his interview on TNT with the boys?
He's an awkward fucking guy.
But you see how he went on TV and was talking about like he's not liked.
Yes.
And it hurts him.
Dude.
And then Charles Barkley was awkward. He's like, hey, do you think people don't like you because you're a jerk? Let me tell you something. Nobody likes you. Tell us why.
Dude,
he's like,
Barkley was like fucking Morley Safer on 60 Minutes.
What?
He was grilling him.
Dude,
he did not let him off the hook at all.
It was painful. I mean, I can't even imagine if right now, if you said to me, Brian, why do you think it is that nobody likes you?
That's the Roy Firestone. I'm going to get to that. I'm going to make you cry at some point.
Thanks
That's
for having
goal.
me on.
We're going to dive into your childhood.
Charles.
Talk about, high school times.
What do you want to know, man? Let's
No,
go to the dark stuff.
We're not there yet, man. We're only 33 minutes in. The tears come in the second hour.
I had just come out of the womb. The lights came on.
Finals thoughts. Give me some more finals thoughts before we get into your illustrious acting career, directing career, comedy career.
Finals thoughts. I think it was a heavyweight matchup. I wish the games would have went more down to the wire. I wish Draymond Green. A lot of people ask me, do you think he should have gotten suspended? I think the NBA had to do that. It was clearly a flagrant. He clearly flailed his foot up. I describe Draymond as this. He's a guy, if you're a player, you love to have on your team because he's so annoying to the other team, but not in like necessarily a good way.
Yeah.
But you love to have him on your team. You hate to play against him. But his antics, I hope he comes back next season. He's got to figure out a way to still be the player he is, but kind of lose the whole, you see every time he goes down, he kicks his leg up right away. And And with all the cameras we have, 360-degree cameras, slow motion, you can't get away with that stuff. And it's stuff you see and you go, if you were on the playground with that guy, fights would happen. And it's just kind of, I know a few people that are huge Warriors fans that agree and say his antics kind of started to taint. Because you don't need it when you're that good of a team.
He became a caricature of himself.
He became a gimmick, a cartoon character, and he's better than that.
Well, he is, but at the same time, I mean, he balled out in Game 7.
He did ball out,
was
and that's why
incredible
you can't define him by that. But the commentary would be try to do less of that because it ended up costing him potentially the series.
That's hard to do because you get these guys where their emotions are the reason they're successful.
Sure.
So it's how much do I dial back? How much don't I dial back? And again, he's a guy drafted in the second round, little fanfare. Your boy David Lee was ahead of him. All of a sudden, he's like third team All NBA, and he's an All-Star out of nowhere.
Well, and he's going to Rio. And when I found out he was going to Rio, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, because he's still trying to become a superstar.
Yeah.
Because everybody that's a superstar is like, Rio, the Zika virus place, right? Nah, I'm good on this one.
I'm good.
I'm good. Well, they got all that dirty water, right? You guys, let Draymond go play.
Dude, I was saying that last week. I might bet the field against the U.S. in the Olympics.
Dude, who knows? I just feel like
LeBron's not going to go now, guaranteed.
No, it's already saying he's probably not going to go. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I just feel like
that's no fun. Conspiracy theories are fucking
oh my
amazing.
God, my buddy is a huge. I know a couple people that are like that. It just sends you down a dead end of thinking. But he's always calling me up. He's the guy who called me today and was like, LeBron's kids enrolled in Brentwood and.
Have you seen these kids play on YouTube yet?
I think I saw one of his sons one time. And
Bronny?
Little Bronny?
Bronny?
I mean, that guy's got a target on his back, right? Like every time he plays, people are probably trying to come and give him their best, whatever they can give him,
Dude, that kid better be amazing.
He better be amazing.
With that name. But he already looks like he's pretty fucking incredible.
Take up backgammon. Doesn't matter. He's set for life. Like, he doesn't even need to be good. He could just literally be bad.
It didn't work out for Michael Jordan's kids.
Yeah,
We'll see if it works out better for LeBron's. Do you think LeBron is pissed about? Do you think this was like fuel to his fire that Steph Curry and Ayesha Curry are like the first family of the NBA?
Absolutely.
And here's a guy with his high school sweetheart, kids, good father, good man, just completely getting overlooked.
Completely. I mean, people wrote him off. They said, he was old news. His legacy was over, and there was a new king in town, and that was Steph Curry. And again, I wanted to see Golden State win back-to-back. I just fell in love with them this season. They were must-watch basketball, really. But then, like I said, once LeBron won, I kind of just all of a sudden went, holy cow, this dude defied all odds. I mean, as soon as he left Miami, as he said, the Miami organization, probably was Pat Riley, I think, is probably who he's talking about. When he said, this is the biggest mistake of your career. Probably weighed on him all last season, all this season.
What's Pat Riley supposed to say?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, hey, take it easy. Enjoy your trip back to Cleveland. We're going to go back to mediocrity and be happy about it.
Yeah, but that's cool. Thanks for coming by the last couple of years, though, LeBron.
Yeah, he's going to fucking do everything he can to persuade him to stay. That's what Pat Riley's supposed to do.
Maybe he was like super cool about it, and then LeBron was leaving, and Pat Riley ran to the window and was like, "By the way, this is the worst mistake you ever make in your career. It's all gonna fail. Make sure you valet your parking. Huge mistake. Biggest of your life."
It's oh man, overblown. I mean, the fact that that would piss LeBron off is kind of petty. If you want me to be totally honest with you.
I mean,
Riley made his career.
Something LeBron said that was very telling to me was, if you notice when he first won, and then whatever his first interview was, I think with Doris was her name.
Doris Burke.
Yeah. When him and Kyrie were hugging, they almost knocked her over, but which I thought was funny. But one thing he said something about the man above, and then he said, "I don't know why he's chosen such a tough road for me."
LeBron said that.
He said that, and I was like, wait a second. I was like,
holy
tough road for you. You're a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
So he's kind of speaking to the point of all the haters and the Warriors being 79-3 and just his path being so hard. But I can't even hate on him because of it, because it was the ultimate lesson in perspective. I'm huge, I guess maybe it's the actor-writer in me, but studying, that told me so much about his psyche that
It's
Imagine
fragile.
He wakes up every day and goes, I have a tough road. I have a
Yeah.
tough path.
It's ridiculous,
It's
which is
like-
why everybody hates him. It's like he's the most fragile, sensitive athlete of all time. How many times have you been called a bitch on the basketball court? Like a billion?
Yeah. Oh, man. That was so funny when Klay Thompson was like, I guess he got his feelings hurt.
That's just part of being a basketball player.
But-
you get called I've been called way worse than a bitch.
This is what I was complaining about with the NBA earlier, though. Like, why is it even a big deal that when LeBron James blocks Curry and's like, get that out of here?
Yeah.
Why are they like, oh, man, what were those words? Can you tell us what was said? It's like, we all know what was said. Get that, crap out of here, whatever. And it's just like, when you play basketball like us in these pickup games, how many times are you playing where you're talking junk and you're almost going to war, and then as soon as the game's over, you're like, hey, good game, man. And you're over it. And it's like, I don't know why they want to take that aspect out of the highest level of the game.
They don't. LeBron just does because he got his feelings hurt, and he said, I want to take the high road, and I'm not going to comment. Well, taking the high road is not saying I'm going to take the high road.
Yeah.
That's like people that say, oh, I'm not sensitive.
He knew
yeah,
what he
you
was
are.
doing, though. There was part of me that liked it in the sense it was a crack in, I'm sick of people taking the high road. I want to see people get in an interview and
dude.
be like, screw Curry.
F the high road.
Yeah, F the high road.
I don't get on the high road.
All about the low
All
road,
right.
baby.
What do you think about, this is one of my favorite things about the Cavs winning the title, and we never would have got this if they hadn't. I like how they jetted off to Vegas.
I know.
For like 2 hours to party.
It's like you have J.R. Smith. He has this whole sentimental, emotional, beautiful Father's Day moment showing his human side. Cut to pouring champagne on a female in a LeBron James jersey in Vegas.
And a thong.
It's like literally like.
With no shirt on in the club.
With no shirt on. Even when they got off the plane and landed back in Cleveland,
No
he's
shirt.
still shirtless. It's like, come on, dude. I thought this was the whole image,
Dude, just JR being JR, man. I like that. If he put a
JR,
suit on, I wouldn't even know what to say.
He's that guy in the friends group that you go out with. He's kind of cool because he's the icebreaker. He probably goes up to the girls. He's like, oh, yeah, that's JR. And then, like, as the night goes, he's getting too crazy and he's, like, doing drugs and getting you arrested and kicked out of places. And you're like, damn it, JR.
I like that guy if I'm in my 20s, though. If
He's
I'm in my
good.
20s,
Yeah.
he's the guy to hang out with.
Maybe in the 20s.
But dude, what a solid move. Because you can't party in the Bay because you just won the
it's
title
pretty
there.
pimp. They just go to Vegas, party
Boom.
it out.
Where can I go? Vegas open 24/7. It's on the way home.
Yeah.
So they land in Vegas. I think I saw something that said they had 10 bottles of 1942, 10 bottles of Bellevue, and like 40 bottles of Moet or something.
And
Waiting for 'em.
1942 is like, or it's like $73 a shot or $43 a shot, something crazy.
And then you see Snapchats of fucking Deli drinking a Corona can in
Was he
a
really?
Tommy Bahama shirt.
That's classic.
What a beast!
Delanova.
What a beast! And dude, Varejao gets a ring, by the way,
No,
because he played for Cleveland
I
this year.
heard. Yeah, but
He
come
got
on.
a ring either way.
Oh, he should. That's just blasphemy.
That's your guy.
That is-
I can
that-
tell
that
you're a
is
big
not my
Varejao
guy.
fan.
That's not my guy. All right, I have his jersey above my bed. Got me.
Which one is the question?
Figure it out.
His national team jersey for Brazil?
I celebrate his entire catalog.
Is that an Office Space reference?
It actually is. It
Well done.
actually is.
Well done. But yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I had a hard time with this Cleveland team and their chemistry a little bit. It didn't seem like they were like super tight. It just seemed like they were kind of infighting. But now I look at them totally different. It looks like they all get along incredibly well. Seems like a good group of guys to hang out with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that time in Vegas was definitely interesting. J.R. Smith is the one that disappeared though at the end of the night. With probably like maybe Delanova was hammered off his Coronas, and I don't know.
I hope somebody got some gambling in at some point. It would
Yeah.
be funny if like they left somebody behind.
They gambled the trophy
J.R.
away.
Smith missed
J.R.
the
Smith
flight.
gambled the trophy at the roulette table.
Gambled it away, missed the flight, and then had to fly Southwest coach back to Cleveland.
So J.R. Smith.
He had to board on Zone 4 for Southwest.
Zone 4.
no shirt.
Oh, man.
But I would much like all right, if you had to pick one of those teams to party with, which team would you rather party with?
Oh, definitely the Cavs. Because
Not even close.
I mean,
You want to hang with
The
Mozgov?
Warriors are all
Go to Moscow?
Yeah. No, the Warriors are just all like into God and marriage and all that bullshit.
You're throwing God under the bus right now.
I didn't mean bullshit towards God. I more so meant marriage.
It's okay, man.
Yeah,
You can
God, you're the man.
We've
Or
heard
woman,
and said
or
worse
woman,
than that.
But no, I just feel like the Warriors, there'd probably be a party back at Del Curry's house, and there'd be vegetables and some ranch dip.
Yeah.
And
A fruit bowl.
a fruit bowl,
A lot of
definitely
cantaloupe
a fruit
in it.
bowl, a lot of
Yeah.
cantaloupe. And then the Cavs, you'd just be in a Vegas room, popping
Wine
Mollers
coolers
with J.R. Smith
Yeah.
and like 1,000 women. And so it might be just a little slightly different.
Well, God bless the Cavs. They're the champs. Nothing bad to say about them. It's going to make it interesting next year. And the best part about the NBA is in 2 days the draft is here. It's a 12-month-a-year league now. I mean, now we're going to get into all the trades and
It's
all this.
crazy.
The
It
Celtics
really
are going to
is.
make. So where's Durant going to go? It's going to be wild. Like I said on the pre-show we were chatting, I said Kevin Love probably has about like 30 hours left as a Cavalier until he's traded to Phoenix or Boston.
Yeah, Kevin Love was a huge disappointment. I mean, there's really no other way to look at it. I always thought they were crazy for getting rid of Andrew Wiggins. I thought I would have preferred to have a guy who's like a young superstar potential than someone who, he never even did he even make the playoffs ever on his Minnesota team?
Never made the playoffs. In a league where half the league makes the playoffs.
Yeah, so I was never a big fan of that trade. I think Minnesota, I mean, who knows? But I would be more excited about young talent than old.
If you're Cleveland and you can flip Kevin Love for the number 3 pick and like Jay Crowder or Marcus Smart, I mean, what a coup that would be if you're Cleveland.
I mean, they probably would. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe he makes a trade. Maybe LeBron and Kevin come to Lakers for D'Angelo Russell and the 2nd pick or something.
The only guy whose stock went down more in the finals is Harrison Barnes.
I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, what an
Dude,
abortion.
what the hell? I mean, if he would have hit 2 more threes, that like win the game or something. He was just painful.
He was
Everybody's
awful.
saying that. He's probably out like $7 to $12 million, or maybe he just stays on the Warriors. Maybe it's actually a blessing in disguise. Maybe he's secretly like, if I suck, I won't get traded off this amazing team.
I mean, dude, he's gonna have to take a discount. He probably wanted like 17 or 18 million a year on his next contract. He'll be lucky to get like 11 or 12, even though the salary cap is about to go up 20 million. So all the teams are gonna have cap space. Some idiot team will sign him for a ton of money. I
mean, I'm just not a fan of teams breaking up, and like, it was the same thing when James Harden left OKC. I said they're dooming themselves right now.
Yeah.
And I just think if teams could stay together, but then again, I know if someone's offering me $14 million and someone else is offering me $6 million, I'd probably go with the 14.
Go with the 14.
Yeah.
Well, what if you're the Warriors and you don't re-sign Harrison Barnes, and then all of a sudden you sign Dirk Nowitzki?
You really think he's gonna leave Dallas?
I think Dirk's sick of losing. I mean, you don't want to. He's already done the sentimental. I'm going to stick around with Dallas thing.
I
sign
agree.
for less money.
So where would he go? He's going to Golden State, they're saying?
I mean, it's a conversation.
I mean, it would be epic if they got Dirk.
It would be amazing.
I just feel like that would be I'd be
Just
really
shooting
awesome.
overload.
Yeah.
It would be incredible.
It would be. It's actually genius now that I think about it, having a guy that big that could, I mean, I can't imagine him, Draymond Green.
Oh, man, spreading the floor like it's going out of style.
Yeah.
What about Durant to the Warriors?
I just feel like Durant's going to stay where he is. I just feel like they came so close. I feel like he's a sentimental guy, an emotional guy. Maybe he goes
You're a sentimental guy. Sounds like you want everybody to kind of stay where they are. Stay with their family, listen,
I would be all for Kevin Durant leaving. I just feel like if you have Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, and their role players are no slouches. I mean,
No.
Adams,
he was great.
Ibaka played great. That's a great team. So where's Kevin Durant going to go where you're going to have a guy that's like a Westbrook and the supporting cast? I mean, I've heard the Clippers. Everybody always wants to push the Wizards because that's where he's from. But if you think about it, the guy hasn't been there in years. So I don't know. I get the sense he's going to stay with Russell.
What if you're KD though and you go to Boston and then they get Jimmy Butler?
I mean,
now you're talking. Now you're working with some. You're in the Eastern Conference.
Okay, I'll make a bold prediction. I think
Fire.
Kevin Durant will go somewhere else this season, and Boston's interesting.
Boston's gonna make moves, man. They got so many picks. They got so many assets to move.
I'm gonna say Durant goes to the Lakers.
Okay.
That just feels good on some level.
It feels good on some level, but I'm gonna say unless they any team he goes to, he's gonna have demands. Like, all right, if I come here, you're getting me Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
You're getting me another guy He's not just going to go to the Lakers and be like, let's rebuild.
Could you imagine if it was Kevin Durant and LeBron James coming to the Lakers?
That would just be the internet would explode.
It would be the Showtime Lakers, baby.
Twitter would shut down.
Yeah, I would be so freaking pumped. It would just be excited to get pumped up about the Lakers again post Kobe, rather than it taking 5, 6, 7, whatever. I mean, the Knicks has been the most nightmarish trying to rebuild a big city franchise
around Carmelo. Kristaps. I saw some Kristaps footage the other day where he was working out with a trainer, like between the legs, behind the back, pull up 22-footers. It just it didn't even look right with a 7'3" guy doing it, but it looked amazing, and he was draining jumpers.
Have the Knicks locked in their coach yet? I'm blanking. Do they even have a coach?
I do. They got Jeff Hornacek.
Oh wow.
You don't seem too excited.
I'm not excited about
that. Didn't get your juices flowing.
Hornacek? No, Hornacek.
Have you ever seen his daughter? It'll get you more excited.
I mean, anyone affiliated with the Utah Jazz, I'm just like,
You're over it?
One of those, huh?
You're not a big Carlos Boozer guy?
Yeah, Carlos Boozer and Jeff Hornacek and Robert Sacre.
Oh, Bobby Sacre. Love old Bobby Sacre.
Is he on the Lakers still? Is he back?
He is, dude. Bob Sacre.
He's like that Lakers that, speaking of herpes, he's like the Laker that won't go away.
He is like
he just keeps coming back.
NBA version of herpes. Dude, once you're in, man, you're never getting out in the NBA.
I see now locally he's doing suit commercials for like men's suit. I'm like, how hilarious is that? At what point did the men's suit company go, do you think we can get Robert Sacre?
Who do you think was the guy right behind him?
Yeah.
Who turned it down so that Bob Sacre could get it?
Who turned it down so he could get it? I think it might have been
who you got for me?
Chris Humphries.
Chris Humphries turned it. Chris Humphries big. He's too big time, man.
Oh man,
he is huge big time. I love Hump.
He's another guy I see on the scene a lot, out and about. He's
a single guy, man.
He's a good looking man. I mean, come on. He's got broad shoulders.
He's got very broad shoulders.
Very broad shoulders.
And he's got cake like Kim Kardashian in his back pocket.
I
mean, to be able to pull that card out, I hit that. I hit Kanye's wife.
Yeah.
That's
Kanye married his ex-girlfriend.
I think that's what happened.
Oh, shots fired.
Shots fired. Boom.
Kanye West.
So I don't know. I'm a Humphries fan. I think he's pretty good too.
You're a big Humphries fan.
In a weird way.
Do you follow him on social media?
I don't, man.
Come on. What kind of Humphries fan are you?
I'm
here?
too busy following Jeff Hornacek's daughter.
Why is Jeff Hornacek's daughter pretty?
She's very attractive.
She hot? She's single? What's going on?
Dude, I think you got to find her.
Come on, if you're watching the show,
I'm not single. You're a single guy.
I am single.
So
let it be known.
Get out there and do your thing.
That's actually why I'm here, is just to meet all the female listeners. Okay, ladies, I am single.
After I proclaim all these people I follow on Instagram, I have to go home and then listen to my girlfriend give me who are you following on Instagram?
Why are you following?
Who's this person? It's for the show. It's research.
I love volleyball players.
Right?
What?
The things. It's funny you said that. She played volleyball at USC.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to follow a female sport,
it's
volleyball, you got to love those uniforms.
Strictly sports related.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely. I'm just a fan of, the sport.
All right, this is a perfect time to segue into your acting career and your directing career. And this is we sat outside and talked about this stuff for 45 minutes. I wish we had the cameras rolling there. So, dude, this is in your blood. You've been doing acting, writing since you were what age? Growing up.
So my background is that I was an art major my whole life since a little kid. Art kind of ran in the family. So I was in specialized art programs forever. And, when you're an art major per se and doing college level art classes in, grammar school, high school, by the time I got to college, I think I had, 2 years plus worth of college credits. Mm-hmm. You do every medium, you explore every medium. So I was kind of doing that my whole life. And then when I kind of got older and getting out of high school and college, I just naturally had started getting into commercials, things like that. And once I started acting, I mean, I've been doing it for over 12 years now. I realized that any set you're a part of, it's basically an art project. It's you got the people that wrote the script and the costume designers, the set designers, the director who's the overall vision. And so I kind of realized that my art background and the whole entertainment industry was one and the same. And, just continued to immerse myself in it and went from got like I said, did commercials, and that led to some MTV shows and some independent movies, and then I started writing my own movies and kind of fell in love with writing, and it's all just kind of led me to the man that's before you here today, Jay.
Well, let's go back to college. All right, I'd like
Okay.
to know like where people get the balls to just move out here and pursue this stuff. So you played college basketball at Delphi, correct?
Oh wow, very good.
Did my research.
I like that.
And we're friends, so I knew that anyway.
Yeah,
I didn't
okay,
really need
that's
to do
true.
research. So you're playing college basketball. Are you doing both? Are you doing plays? Because it's
Well, here's the funny thing.
a full-time job being a college athlete.
Sure. Well, the thing is I'm like a real weirdo in the sense that anything I say set in my mind that this is what I got to do or want to do, I'm just unrelenting, dog on a bone, And so my dream was not to play in the NBA, but I wanted to play college basketball. And it's way too long of a story to get into, but there was just tons of politics at my high school, and let's just say I wasn't recruited anywhere, and I had art scholarships everywhere to all like the best art schools that you can think of. But I wanted to play for the best Division II program in the Northeast, which was at the time at Delphi University. So kind of going against logic and my better judgment, which would have been to go to the best art school and to use an art scholarship there. I also had an art scholarship at Adelphi, but for graphic design. So I really went to school to fulfill this basketball dream of walking on this team, which I did. And simultaneously, I got this scholarship, but really not like the school you would go to normally. So I did get to do both. But then after my sophomore year, I'm playing basketball. Like you said, it's a full-time job. And I'm going, okay, you're not going to go to the NBA. So now it's time to focus on what you want to do. And I knew I wanted to get involved in acting. And actually, I tried to do plays at my first, when I was a student athlete at Adelphi, and they wouldn't let you do plays unless you were a theater major.
Oh, wow.
So I was kind of bitter. But then I went to UF, and my major at UF, again with an art scholarship, was called Electronic Intermedia. And at UF, they empowered you because they would say, okay, you want to go into making movies and animation and into the creative arts. So they let you kind of do your curriculum based on what you want to do, especially since I had all these advanced credits. So all the types of classes that I did at UF would be editing music videos, reenacting scenes from my favorite movies and filming it and, presenting it to class. And I did paintings and animation and other mediums as well. But I was kind of able to, that's kind of, I guess, what got my creative juices flowing as a writer and a producer and even an actor, really.
Well, I mean, you pursuing your basketball dream is kind of it goes to your whole body of work. It's like like you said, you put your mind to something and you want to accomplish it. So if you hadn't done that, it's probably something you would be looking back on today and been like, you know what, man, I really wish I had given that a shot. And you were able to knock it out and then still pursue like what you ended up wanting to pursue anyway.
Well, it's like you hit the nail on the head there. I actually got chills because it was like you just got it. It was walking onto that program and that basketball team and then winning the respect of those players. I mean, even the captain of the team. By the way, the coach freshman year was Steve Clifford, the coach of the Hornets.
Oh, wow.
And then my other coach is on the Cavs right now. I'm blanking on his name right now. It's been over 10 years, but he hooked us up with our Nike. But all the coaches from those teams are all in the league now. And I had the most amazing bonds and friendships and relationships. And to this day, I'm still close with some of the players from Adelphi. If you guys are listening, shout out to Delphi Panthers. But winning the respect of those players that were scholarship players and been recruited, it taught me in life, like, because it was so hard to make that team.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of ridiculous that I went to school for that when, logic would be telling you, go focus on animation at the School of Visual Arts or whatever. And when I made the team, I said, you know what? When I go to pursue my dreams in Hollywood, I'm going to remember what it felt like to walk onto that team and kind of beat the odds, so to speak. And that stayed with me into adulthood. So, yeah, if I want to make a film or try and create a TV show or just anything, it takes such a massive amount of focus and teamwork. And I think sports is like the ultimate way to learn these kind of lessons to take to other things. And I've definitely used that.
Well, I mean, to overcome something, too, at that early of an age when confidence is very fragile when you're that young, especially in sports, like being ridiculed or failing over and over again, it's hard to come back from. And to be able to come from a high school program where maybe it didn't go the way you wanted it to go, to, like you said, walk on to one of the top Division II teams in the country, you must have been feeling real good about yourself.
Well, I remember the first time ever. I'll never forget it. I'm even like, it's bringing back chills, like, because it was that big of part of my life. As I remember the first time, kind of as a team, we all had the Nike jumpsuits on, and it was like walking around because we didn't have a football team at our school. So it was like you get like 15 guys that are all 6'5", 6'4", 6'8", whatever, walking around campus. That was the first time where I felt like, wow, I went for something I really wanted. I unwavered. I beat all the obstacles, and now here I am. And I just, you have a sense of pride where you're just like, wow,
I mean, you talked that you used the word logic earlier, like it went against all logic. But at the end of the day, most big things that you try to achieve in life, logic just gets in the way.
Oh, one of my favorite.
You have to throw caution to the wind.
One of my favorite quotes is it's actually a Will Smith quote, and it's just the most. If you hate Will Smith, I apologize, but the guy's got some great wisdom and or wisdom that he's learned. Clearly an accomplished dude, but he said the most commonly traveled path to mediocrity is to be realistic, because anybody that's ever achieved anything great, if they would have been realistic, like, Thomas Edison wasn't realistic when he said you can flip a switch and lights come on.
Mm-hmm.
The Wright brothers, it wasn't realistic to bend metal and put it through the air and fly people. I mean, what was even flying? That's not realistic. So it's kind of like a red flag for me whenever I hear somebody say, "Well, I'm a realist," or "I'm realistic."
It sounds awful. It's like you've given up already.
You've already decided it's not possible, and I'm the reverse of that. I think, why not? Let's make it. Let's do it.
Well, so with that theory, you've kind of like manifested this very like fascinating career in Hollywood. You've been here how long? How many years?
It's about 11 years.
11
now.
years. I mean, everything you've done, your IMDb page is amazing. You've done so much cool stuff. You've worked with so many cool people, but you've created most of like your greatest accomplishments from scratch. Like you wrote them, you starred in them. I mean, you are. I mean, tell me about that process. I mean, that requires a level of confidence that would crush most people. They wouldn't be able to do that.
Well, thank you. Basically what I can attribute it to, again, is an art background. I'm just so used to kind of setting a goal of, okay, here's what I want to create, because that's all any, for instance, the films that I've been blessed and lucky enough to get off the ground and have made, and, my web series, Cinedopes, all the things that I've been able to kind of, first of all, it's collaborating with the right people. It's not just me on anything, but it does need to start with someone who believes in it and it has the confidence. And I think where that comes from is, my whole life I had a mom who was sick growing up, and it kind of taught me that life was super temporary and precious.
Mm-hmm.
And so where other people are maybe thinking about marriage and I don't know, I feel like some people, like, life feels very short to me. Like, life does not feel like an 80-year thing. It feels like an 8-week thing. And I feel like I only have 8 weeks, and I want to create and do as much as I can while I'm here. So I remember, after my mother passed away, I kind of, something inside of me just flipped. It wasn't good enough for me anymore to be looking forward to someone helping me in my career or someone. It was like I wanted to create it. I wanted to do it. And I was doing stand-up comedy and going around to comedy clubs, and I thought, I'm only doing this because I want somebody to see me and go, that guy's really funny, and then put me in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the thought, what if I'm the guy who's creating the movie? I was, as a young actor, I was getting all these scripts sent to me, and I was reading them, and all I could think was, I don't want to sound cocky or wrong here, but I had the belief that I could write something just as good as that. If all this stuff is getting made, why don't I champion my own projects that I believe in and write my dream roles and things that I would wish to get cast in. And I was very fortunate enough, again, though, that I had the right mixing pot of people around me. Like, I knew a guy who was a producer, and I saw him producing independent movies, and I thought, wait, so all you need is a script and then the money to make the script. So that was like my first 1 + 1 = 2. Okay, so I'll write a really good script, and then I'll go get money behind it. And once I have that, then it's just, again, it's the art project. Okay, I need a guy who can film. I need a guy who can edit. And
you can just compartmentalize everything.
Compartmentalize everything.
And I think for most people, the hard part is it just everything seems so big, and it just seems like so much, and it's too daunting for them. And for you to be able to focus in that way is, I mean, that's a gift. If you could bottle that up.
Well, you know, I gotta say the guy that I collaborated with on my first independent movie, Two Dudes and a Dream, is a producer by the name of Cole Payne, and he gave me some of the best advice ever when I was a young new guy in LA, because you meet people in LA and they always say, the funniest thing that people tell me is when they say I'm an idea guy. It's like you might as well be saying I don't follow through and do the physical work
lazy
guy.
As fuck.
You know, like I have a million ideas before I piss in the morning. You know what I mean? Like all you're saying is I don't want to do everything it takes to physically make this, but can you make my idea? But so people always have ideas, right? I can't even get over how many times people are like, "Can we get coffee, man? I have this idea, man." It's like that's another one of my red flags. If you don't show up with like a whole written pitch package treatment that you've slaved over, then why do I care?
Yeah.
And so the advice I got from him was come up with an idea that you want to see in reality and focus on it until it's in reality, and don't move or waver from that thing that you're trying to create until it's done. And so that instead of writing a TV show and having a rap song and making a YouTube video, and you just say, no, what do I want to do? I want to write a screenplay, raise the money, and make it. And when you make that decision and say, this is what I'm doing, instead of, oh, it'd be great to do this, and I got this and I got that, and I like I said to this guy recently, he told me that he again had an idea for a movie, been writing a script. I said, what's the movie about? He talked for almost 20 minutes. I still didn't know what it was about. So it's like, it's the thing is, you have to like focus in. You should be able to tell me your idea, your movie, or whatever it is in one sentence, crisp, clean, where I get it. I go, okay, and now maybe I can join you, and you have a collaborator because you're so focused. So I think the key word is focus. And then, yeah, you have to compartmentalize. Okay, now I'm dealing with an editor. Now I'm dealing with a composer. Now I'm dealing with... And I think even being an actor, it kind of helps you read people and go, okay, what's in it for this person? How can I get them excited? So if you're really good at sound design, maybe you secretly want to be an actor on some level. And I say, okay, what if we put you in the coffee shop scene and you get to say these lines? Now will you do our sound design for...
You're bartering with people.
I mean, when you're young and you're new, you have to do this stuff. And
well, here you go. You're 11 years ago. You're college educated. You've already overcome basketball. You're writing. Your art is a big part of your life. You move out here. The first thing you do, obviously, you get on a reality show. Right? That's the natural step.
Yes, it's a.
You couldn't have dreamed that was going to happen.
Oh man, it's so funny. The backstory, if people only knew, I was so anti-reality television.
He was on The Hills. Anybody out there? Season 1.
Season 1 of The Hills, and the truth is behind that story. Just to backtrack it from right before The Hills, I was in New York and I was knocking on every door of every talent agency, management company, and I made a VHS. I'm really going to date myself now. A VHS of myself. It's actually on YouTube. If you type in Brian Drolet crazy randomness, but it's just like this really. It's me in front of my camera with dirty laundry in the background and the plus, the pause symbol, pause record. Completely amateurish, me doing impressions, knocking on doors, going everywhere, getting laughed out of talent agencies. And then this one woman, she loved my tenacity and my, can-do attitude or whatever. And she's like, I watched your tape. I loved it. I sent it to MTV. The casting department would like to meet you. So I go into MTV and they're like, what would you, what's your, tell us about yourself. And I said, well, I want to do comedy. I would love to have my own show and yada, yada, yada. So, they were probably like, all right, slow down, cowboy. And but they ended up calling me back the next day to audition for kind of like Punk'd. It was Punk'd before Punk'd. It was a hidden camera show called Damage Control, where I met one of my best friends to this day, comedian Ben Morrison. Shout out to Ben Morrison. But so they, they called me in. I auditioned. I ended up booking that audition. First thing I'd ever auditioned for. Kind of like our other tall Brian that we were talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. But
sucked you in.
But yeah, so I got cast for 5 episodes on that show. Then the producers called me in and said, well, you should go out to LA. There's a lot more opportunity for you. Can kind of help introduce you to a couple of right people. Come out to LA. Next thing I know, I'm partying with the cast of like Laguna Beach, and we meet Lauren and all these girls, and they're like, hey, we're making the show, the spinoff to Laguna Beach. So MTV already knew us, because MTV, once they work with you, they kind of know the people they have. And then we naturally, organically met Lauren and Heidi, and MTV was like, yeah, we know Brian and Jordan. Jordan was my other buddy. Shout out to Jordan Eubanks, lightheaded. I got to give all these shout outs,
Hey,
you
man.
know? It's like, that's
Keep firing.
That's the hip thing, like shots fired. Boo, boo. But Hoyt Richards. But anyway,
That guy's a beast.
Hoyt Richards, you know Hoyt? He's who I
we'll
co-wrote
get into
dumbbells with.
Yeah, we'll get into dumbbells in a little bit. That guy's a monster.
Okay. But there's so many people, by the way, you know, that I've collaborated with, like Hoyt and like these people I've mentioned, that I am lucky to have. And so if they're listening, I appreciate y'all. But what was I saying?
Talking about the inception of this of the Hills.
Oh, yes.
I was
Okay.
a huge fan of that show. I'm gonna
Which I didn't know, by the way.
Yeah, I know way too much about that show.
Okay, did you have a picture of me in your sock?
I did not. And I will say this, because I'm obviously like you, I'm sure. Anytime I see anything on TV that is basketball related,
Okay.
I immediately think it's going to suck.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right. So there was a scene in the first
You
season
saw- I know
where
the
you
scene.
and Jordan
Oh,
are
yeah.
walking out to have like a heart-to-heart. And you guys are walking to the basketball court, and I remember I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is going to be fucking terrible. These guys are going to be terrible.
I think I dunked in that
Yeah,
season.
and you dunked, and I thought the rim was 8 feet tall. I thought it was
That's
like
a high rim. That's
I thought
Pan
it was like
Pacific.
I thought it was like a sound stage with a green screen.
You know, my dunking has been brought up for all the listeners. Also on YouTube, Brian Drolet dunking from 13 feet. It's on
It's
there.
very impressive.
All right?
It's
It's
a
on
very
there.
impressive
It's
dunk.
before HD, though. So.
I mean, I think I talked about your dunking prowess before I talked about anything you've done.
Well,
in
you know,
life.
that's how I met. We have another mutual friend, Scott Hederman. Shout to Scott Hederman, who, you know, him and I met at a Sports Authority commercial for it was actually at Pan Pacific Park, same park we filmed The Hills at.
He's like our J.R. Smith. He
He's a-
walks around with his shirt off everywhere he goes.
I'll
He's
give him a
talking to
little
the
bit more
ladies.
credit but yeah, he's got the tattoo. No, he doesn't. But him and I met at a Sports Authority commercial where they wanted to see us all dunking, and you know, we did it. I got it. Scott didn't, and I was all excited, you know, bragging. And then I show up to the actual commercial shoot, and on the call sheet, it says some other dude's name, and it says Dunker next to it, and then it says my name, and it just says Dunked. And so I walked up. I'm like, this doesn't sound good, and I'm like, what's going on here with my role, my dunker role? They're like, oh no, you're gonna be the one getting dunked on now.
Oh shit!
And I'm like, come on, man. They're like,
Dude,
they're like, it's a a lead in a national commercial. They're like, well, that's great as an actor. I was like, it's great as an actor. It's horrible as a basketball
Your
player.
street cred is gone.
But so the Hills, when we came out here, now I talked about focus earlier, and now I can do anything but so we ended up having this show naturally and organically just kind of come into our existence, and it made sense. MTV knew us. The girls, you know, my buddy was dating Heidi, and then MTV kind of talked to me about potentially, you know, being the love interest of Lauren. But fun fact here, I was still in love with my ex-girlfriend from Florida when I first moved out here, and was secretly hoping we'd get back together.
All right.
So I told MTV that I didn't want to date a girl on the show, and I actually kept turning down The Hills because I didn't want to do a reality show, and I was scared, I'll be typecast, you know, I'll be stigmatized. But then, you know, all my friends are filming it, and MTV's saying, why don't you film? And I'm feeling the pressure. My acting studio was like, what are you, crazy, Brian? But the straw that, you know, broke the camel's back or whatever was they finally agreed. They're like, what's your apprehension? I said, I don't want to be painted as a reality star. And they said, well, you're doing stand-up comedy. You have a part in a movie coming up. We'll film you at the Laugh Factory doing stand-up. We'll film you on set of your movie. We're going to portray you as an actor, as a comedian, you know, not what you're not. And when they said that, I said, you know what? Okay, that sounds awesome, actually. But when we filmed the show, we thought it was about young people in Hollywood. They didn't tell us it was a show about these 4 girls.
Mm-hmm.
So they ended up cutting out all these storylines that we filmed about ourselves, and including there was a great thing they filmed with me and my father at the Roosevelt Hotel before my stand-up comedy one night. I actually did it twice at the Laugh Factory for The Hills. First time I ever did it was for filming, so it was a lot of pressure. But that's how it all happened. It was organic and kind of, it was 6 months out of my life that 12 years later, 10 years later, 11, whatever it's been, 10 years, people will still come up to me. People always...
No regrets, obviously.
No regrets. I love it. I think it's the type of... I don't feel like people know me for it. People always come up to me and they think I went to high school with them. They think I went to college with them. They know me, but they don't know where they know me. And then some people, it hits them and they're freaking out because they're like, I watched that in high school. And
I watched that in my 30s.
There you go.
I would literally write down the names of all the restaurants or bars you guys would go to because I knew I was moving to LA eventually.
Oh, no way.
And I would all right, I got to go to Ketchup. I got to go to Geisha House. I'm going to go to Ledoux. I'll be 35. I'm going to Ledoux. I don't give a shit,
was our
man.
spot, man.
A lot of Ledoux, man.
Oh, yeah. You got to love Ledoux.
A lot of Ledoux. What were those chicks like? Any hookups? Audrina?
Audrina and I were hooking up. It was all very innocent. It was kind of like her and I's kind of thing or whatever it was came and went, but then MTV found out and they wanted to film an episode about it. But her and I we were just two young kids on filming the show for MTV. So
how old are you at the time?
At the time, I was like 26. So,
all right.
I guess 26 is the new 16, right?
How old are they? Were they weren't they in college?
I think I was like 4 or 5 years older than everybody. The
elder statesman.
Yeah, I was the mature one.
Uncle Brian.
Uncle Brian.
Story time with Uncle Brian.
Yeah, but it was just fun. It was exciting. I never in my wildest dreams thought it would have became what it
did.
What it is. I mean, to this day. I mean, look, we're sitting here talking about it now. I mean, I can't.
I was fanboying on you too, man, back in the day. Didn't even know you.
Well, I just found out my other friend because he lives in Washington. He's into politics, and he's like some popular political guy tweeted out a GIF or a GIF, whatever the word is, of me and Audrina, and it's of me saying, something like, "Oh, stop already," or whatever. And I just thought, how funny is that in Washington, where this is serious stuff here, there's some politician tweeting a GIF or GIF of I would love to know. I got to figure that out.
Vanessa, GIF,
GIF or GIF?
GIF. What's it stand for? Is there like an acronym?
Generated
information.
Image.
Foreplay. I don't know.
Fornication.
Fornication.
Generated image. Yeah, something like that.
No, that's crazy. That's something that will be with you forever. All right, but that's obviously not what you wanted to do. You're out here to be a total creative. Cinedopes. I'll get to that. Dumbbells. Dude, I loved this movie.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And it's always weird watching your friends. Now living out here for 8 years, now I know a lot of people that are doing this stuff. And when I see friends on screen, it's always hard to separate.
Sure.
Dude, you killed it in this movie.
Oh,
I laughed out loud many times.
Oh, thanks, man.
You played a failed basketball player.
True story.
College basketball superstar who goes in. You open a gym or just go to work at a gym?
It's basically, he was the LeBron James that never was, and then you meet him a couple of years after college, and he's a trainer in a gym, just hating his life, and a new owner, Hoyt Richards, who we were talking about earlier, comes in and wants to glamorize the gym and turn it into a reality show. And the last thing this failed basketball player wants is his life on display so people can see where he's at. And it's just this fun comedy about gym staff and how they kind of turn the business around and kind of making meaning of his life and ultimately learns, nothing ever goes quite according to plan, but that doesn't mean you should quit playing the game. Sports reference.
So you wrote this thing.
I wrote it with Hoyt.
You starred in it.
Yes.
Did you cast it?
I did cast it as well.
All right. So obviously,
I know where you're going.
Obviously, you got to cast your love interest. I mean, that's got to. What's that like when you're just like girls are just parading through?
It is. It's like you feel like you're playing God. I'm not gonna lie. And being an actor for so long before casting a film, there was a lot of actors that I'd be in waiting rooms with that then I would, be calling them in to audition for my film. So that was kind of a mind trip. But casting your love interest is really weird because you feel like you're speed dating, but.
Are you making out with these chicks to see if there's chemistry, or is there anything?
No.
Is there the casting couch?
I am absurdly professional.
All right.
I love making a movie or something like Cinedopes, any sort of comedic. It's my favorite thing by far, and I take it very seriously. And so There's no funny business, almost to a no fun fault where, because the thing is, if you're flirting with girls or trying to make a movie trying to get laid, odds are the movie's not going to be good.
Yeah.
People are going to think you're a douchebag or a scumbag. So I don't want girls to feel objectified or feel like, there's so much that girls have to go through trying to make it in this industry. I certainly don't want to be one of those men that are casting or choosing girls based on wanting to hook up with them. I mean, I would be lying if I said as a straight guy, it's hard to have beautiful women come in the room and not be attracted to them. But same goes for the guys who you don't want to hook up with. If a good-looking, charming guy comes in and kills it, you're attracted to that. So being attractive is part of it because, we want to cast people that we like and we want to watch. But there's a line, and I like to definitely respect that because,
Taylor Cole walks in. She's an attractive young lady.
Taylor Cole is awesome. She was a pleasure to work with.
Hysterical in the movie.
She was great. It was interesting. Marseille was so great. Marseille Monroe played my ex-girlfriend Kim in the movie. And we were so torn because we also thought Taylor Cole would be great as the ex-girlfriend and Marseille would be great as the girlfriend. But I also felt like Taylor Cole's natural casting would be to be the evil ex because she's so pretty and like she's like easy to hate or be a villain because she's just intimidating. But we kind of like the idea of flip-flopping the casting because Marseille is so warm and friendly and so believable as the romantic lead. We're like, what if we make the warm, friendly girl the crazy ex where you understand why he can't.
That's probably more fun as an actor too for them.
Well,
right?
she's such a good comedic actress, Marseille, and I felt like Taylor, who I think would have been brilliant in either role, but I felt like Taylor's background was more dramatic and Marseille's was more. I'm a little biased because I had worked on a sketch comedy pilot with Marseille where I got to play my childhood hero Jim Carrey and she got to play Jenny McCarthy. And that's where we met. So I kind of knew her comedic chops. And I just love the idea of this gorgeous girl, but also just with her comedic chops being able to take the crazy to another level. And I just, we kind of fell in love with the idea of Taylor, this beautiful, intimidating. That intimidation was good for my character because he was kind of down and out and a jerk to everyone. And he kind of needed someone that was you would believe would intimidate him.
Well, neither of those girls were the best looking person on set because that's got to go to Fabio.
Fabio,
I mean, how'd you get Fabio? What was it like working with him?
Fabio is good friends with Hoyt Richards from
former male models.
Former male models.
Handsome devil.
Yeah. I tell you, they're still killing the modeling game. I think Hoyt just did like some spread. I mean, the guy's just
strong
unstoppable.
jaw.
Yeah, great jaw. But he was friends with Fabio, and there was that role that was written. Who, believe it or not, it was originally for Ian Ziering, who was in my acting class at the time, and
huge 90210 guy right here.
Yeah, I love. Who didn't love 90210? Yeah. And Ian was a great guy, but he just did not want to play a version of himself. And I tried to explain to him it was going to be like not you. You're going to play this ridiculous version of yourself. Couldn't get behind it, so I remember the director was in a panic. He's like, "We gotta get Ian Ziering, we gotta get him." Wow. And I'm like, "Dude, Sharknado's booked him up for the next decade.
He's locked."
But all of a sudden, it was just the epiphany happened. I'm like, Hoyt, your buddy Fabio, you think he'd do it? He asked him. Fabio was like, I'm in. And next thing you know, I'm on set with Fabio, and he's just the nicest, most sweetheart. Honestly, you would be amazed at what a sweetheart he is. I call him a chatty Cathy. He'll just chat you up, for forever. He's just I don't know. He's a great guy.
I know I have to get you out of here soon because you got to bounce. But a couple more questions.
Sure, you're fire him at me.
Give me any actors you ever worked with that made you nervous.
Tom Arnold.
Tom Arnold.
He.
Two Dudes. What was your first movie?
Two Dudes in a Dream.
Two Dudes in a Dream.
I remember working with Jay Muse, who obviously growing up watching Clerks and Jay and Silent Bob and all those movies, Kevin Smith movies. I remember I was nervous because it was the first time I was the lead in a movie and I was getting my project made. And basically, he was a guy I grew up watching. So I was nervous for that. I worked with Matt LeBlanc and Ali Larder on a movie called Lovesick. It's always intimidating to work with people you've grown up watching.
Uh-huh.
But Tom Arnold was the most intimidating because he wasn't like before, like when we're not rolling, he's not talking to you. And you're just like, oh, man, that's Tom Arnold. And then, you do the scene, and then it's back to silence. It wasn't like friendly, whereas Matt LeBlanc and Ali Larder and people like that were way more kind of making you feel easy.
That's interesting. Tom fucking Arnold, big time in you.
Big time. But it was weird because then at the end I said, hey, can I get a photo with you? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. And he was like super nice. And I was like, oh, maybe it was just me. I think he also was going through like a back issue and was on medication. And, he was being a warrior for us coming out and doing the movie for like nothing. So I have nothing but gratitude for him doing that. Jay Moore was another guy that I worked with.
Love Jay Moore.
He was cool as hell. I mean, honestly, one of the best moments for me was, I'm kind of at this point where I don't really even want to be successful anymore for myself. It's more like I want to, be able to help my father out and, do things for my father to kind of make his worries or stress easy in his later years. And I just remember my father was on set and this movie's being made, my dreams coming true. And there's my dad chopping it up with Jay Moore.
Yeah.
And, the New Yorker was really coming out, my father, and, Moore's like that. And I just remember like thinking like, this is cool, man. My dad's talking to Jay Moore on a movie set. And I think there was like 5 girls in lingerie for the upcoming next scene walking around. I was like, I just want to give that to my father, Screw me.
That's awesome. Impressions. Scovotti will be mad at me if I didn't ask you if you do any impressions. If so,
Sure.
give me like 2 of your best.
Sure. You know what? I'll plug. I want to tell people.
Oh, the
about
Snapchat's coming out for the impressions.
So I'm going to talk about Synodopes as the president of the United States of America. I do a Barack Obama, and I just want to let everybody know that I'm cool with reefer. You can see a lot more about marijuana and cannabis if you watch Brian's web series, Synodopes, Cinedopes. And it's a comedy about the first movie theater to legally sell pot to the American people. Check it out.
Get some applause on that applause meter over there, V. If you got the button handy, dude, that was fucking incredible.
Oh, I appreciate that.
That was like way better than I thought it would be.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
That was tremendous.
I
All right, you got one more?
One more impression. Let me think.
And then you know what's coming after that. I'm sure you know what's coming.
I don't even know. I'm thinking of the impression and trying to think of what's coming. I'll do my impression of a. Jeez, what's another impression I do? Let's see. Do you know who this is? When the world looks kind of weird and you wish that you weren't
Kermit?
there. Yeah, Kermit.
Very good.
I'll do. Thanks.
You got the applause for Kermit.
Hey, by the way, why do you think Kermit dated Miss Piggy?
'Cause she was a pleaser.
But doesn't he find it because she was a pleaser? I always say this joke. I'm like, was he in a bar one night with Gonzo? And he's just like, hey, check her out. He's like, who, the hot redhead? No. Oh, that sexy brunette? No, the disgustingly loud fat pig over there. That's the one I want. But yes, those are my impressions.
So what do you think all of our friends made sure that I had you do when you came on the show tonight? What are you famous for? What are you really famous for? At the end of the day, you could win an Oscar. You could for like best director. You could make a movie, win best director, best actor, best everything.
Okay.
You will still be famous to the people that know you.
Freestyle rapping?
For freestyle rapping.
All right, dude. All right. I got it.
Do you need a beat or you're just going to rock it out?
I could do it a cappella. I could use a beat. Whatever gets you jiggy and makes you tap your feet.
Just entertain
I've already
us.
started and you're not even aware. It's okay. I can do this with no care. I'm pretty dope. Look me up on the computer at dope.com. I think it says I'm the LeBron James Bond. Dropping bombs like Vietnam. I'm large like King Kong. Slap you like a ping pong paddle. I'll harass you on social media. I'm like Expedia because I'm swift like a car. I'm going to go very far in the entertainment industry. I'm a little better than that dude, Lil Dicky. Actually, I'm not. That dude is the future of hip-hop. Mad respect for Lil D. but I can hope I can spit a little bit, G. I don't know. What else could I say? I'm Brian Drolet. Check me out on Instagram. I hope you'll be a new fan. It's at Brian Drolet. Kind of like Chevrolet, minus the Chev, plus a D. Let me see. Don't get high off ecstasy. Instead, smoke pot a lot while you watch Cinedopes on YouTube. I'm a pretty cool dude. I hope my videos accumulate mad views. I want to make like Cruz and Tom. I mean, Tom and Cruz. Maybe I've had a little bit too much booze. Is that camera rolling? Should I keep going? Should I keep flowing? I don't know. Keep showing these lyrical skills that I spit through my two lips, which are fully equipped to do this freestyle.
Dude, wow. Top 3 moment in the history of this show. I mean, usually you're doing that outside the bar after we've had like 15 drinks. And you're amazing.
I appreciate that. Coincidentally, I only need 14 drinks now.
Dude, easily one of the most talented dudes I know. I wish you nothing but the best. I know it's coming. Success is just around the corner for you, man.
Appreciate that,
Thank you for coming on. Don't forget about us when you hit it big. Come on back.
You got it, man. Anytime. Thanks for having me.
My man, Brian Drolet.
Boom.
Take a short break. Mike Scovotti is going to call in. Vanessa and I are going to talk music, and we'll be back on Mostly Sports.
Right now.
Oh, Scavotti's already here. Oh,
I'm on.
well, hey, we're going to take a quick break. Brian's going to bounce out. I'll get back to you in like 45 seconds. My man.
All right.
Back already. Very short break because on the line right now, after the incredible Brian Drolet freestyle and amazing interview, is Mr. Mike Scovotti. What's going on, Michael?
He is off. He needs to call back.
Now he's off. He's off. I rush back to chat with him, and then he runs away. Remind me to never buy a house. I just want to be a renter the rest of my life, and that way, like, other people can just like take care of things. Like, what's the allure of buying a house other than being responsible and being an adult?
Not having to worry about neighbors.
That's true. Not having to worry about neighbors. I get that. Well, then you can just rent a really nice house. You know, then you can leave. You don't have to worry about selling it. I don't know. I'm going to say owning a house is an overrated life experience.
What do you have to say about that, Mike?
What's the guy got to do to call into his own show?
Oh, he's back. There he is. Mike Scovotti is back. You just missed an amazing interview with Mr. Brian Drolet. Did you?
I listened to you guys I listened to a few minutes. It was solid.
Did you hear his freestyle rap?
No, I only got like 2 minutes in. I had to start going in the car. I missed your intro. That's the only thing I really, really wanted to hear.
It was epic, dude. Drolet's rap freestyle was one of the top 3 greatest moments in the history of this show. I've never seen Vanessa like smile and be so happy. She was Snapchatting. It'll be on Snapchat, I'm sure. He kind of killed it.
How have we not had Dr. Joe Thompson freestyle?
I don't know, like a country, like a Nelly country Nashville.
We're gonna take 8 Mile rap battles up a little bit.
He's not really a freestyler though. He's more of a, he's doing covers.
Yeah, he's getting there. He's working his way out of the tribute band.
On the Jt
He's probably got some
Singz.
skills though.
The Jt Singz is taking off. So what's going on, Michael? Why didn't we have you tonight? Tell us why you weren't in studio.
Well, I only got a couple minutes. There's like 12 things I want to cover, but I'm This is like the last day moving out of my apartment, finally into the house. Like 99.9% of the stuff is in. I'm going up right now back to Santa Monica to pick up the last of it and meet with the landlord for the third time today. And yeah, I'm out.
I like it. All right, get to your rapid fire. I know you're in a hurry. What's on your mind?
Rapid fire. All right. I tuned in before when I heard you guys talking about if LeBron is staying or going. One note I have today on everything is that nobody was talking about the game. Nobody was saying anything about the game, about the block, and someone's taking my couch off the curb. Wow, look at that. All right. The block, first of all, it bothers me, and I'm going to be all over the place. I apologize. Nobody's talking about Kyrie's three, even in the same stratosphere as the block. The block is going to be LeBron's, Jordan over Elo moment kind of thing.
I said that earlier. I said that will be the play that they end his tribute at the Hall of Fame with. That will definitely be his iconic play. It doesn't matter what he does from here on out.
Agreed. Now, his dunk, if he would have put that dunk down over Draymond, I'll say this, that would have been better than anything Jordan did, anything, Jerry West, Bill Rupp, whatever. That if he would have put that dunk down, that would have been it. But I don't think Kyrie's getting enough love. Yeah, LeBron led in every single category, but Kyrie's not getting nearly enough love for what he did in these last three games.
I mean, I gave him a ton of love earlier in the show. I'm with you 100%. They don't win that title. They don't even come close to winning a title without Kyrie Irving being. I said he was Steph Curry in this series. He was what we thought Steph Curry would be.
Yes, agreed. Now, when Miami was it 3 years ago, Miami beat San Antonio. I've watched that game 6, I think it was, where they should have lost, the Ray Allen 3 game. I went back and I watched that. I probably watched it 24 times. And I think I counted 11, 50-50 shots, chances, little plays, off of this guy, rebound for this guy. I remember 11 instances where that happened. And last night, or 2 nights ago, in that series was almost no different because, sorry, I'm trying to do 12 things. Everything in this series needed to happen well for Cleveland and bad for Golden State. Bogut going out was huge. That was a lot bigger than a lot of people are talking about.
Agreed.
Because that freed up Tristan Thompson. I am on record many times on that show saying, why the hell did LeBron say I need Tristan Thompson to be with me if I'm coming back to Cleveland? I always wondered that. I didn't realize until Tristan Thompson started going off, happened to be game 5, 6, 7, pulling down 16 rebounds, 12 rebounds a half, in the first half of game 5. I said, yeah, Bogut's not there. And I don't want to say that Tyronn Lue out-coached Steve Kerr. All he said was, they don't have a big man. Get to the hole. That was it. Bogut going out was huge. Iguodala being hurt.
It just meant Varejao had to play more minutes. And in this series, ideally Varejao would have played 0 minutes. It just meant more Zealy and it meant more Varejao.
And Zealy wouldn't have played at all either.
I mean, probably not, but he would have played very sparingly. It made that bench shorter, and like you said, there was 0 rim protection, and you're just a man down. I mean, that team is a cohesive unit, and now granted, Bogut's not playing 30 minutes, but for his 18, 22 minutes on the floor, they're a very good team as well, and it just limited Steve Kerr's options.
It limited them, and I was watching the game. I was in your bar watching the game, and I was just watching it very closely. It was almost too easy for Cleveland in that game 7. Because they knew Golden State was switching on every screen, and this was a testament to how bad Steve Kerr is coaching wise.
Wow,
he didn't notice that. It was about his junior varsity of switch every time down the floor to get Ezeli or whoever was on the floor, Varejao, whatever big man, to switch off onto LeBron or Kyrie. And it was like if you and me were playing defense, we would have picked up on it in 2 seconds and said, all right, if LeBron or Kyrie's got the ball, we're fighting through every screen. It was just, and it just kept happening that it was one of those moments where I said, I can't be smarter than Steve Kerr or, Coach of the Year, Luke Walton, but I felt like that.
It was definitely, I mean, Cleveland employed a very simple approach. I mean, aside from getting those guys in pick and rolls, they got Steph Curry into about 30. Whoever Curry was guarding, they made that person set a pick on LeBron's man to get Curry to defend the pick and roll from the other side. Curry's a little bit better at defending it when he's on the ball, but when he's got to be the one switching on, which is like we've never seen Curry get into foul trouble before. We saw it multiple times this series.
Yeah, he fouled out for the first time since like 2013.
Exactly, and which was a great move by Tyrone Lue. Like, he didn't reinvent the wheel. He didn't come up with some new way to play basketball. He, in a way, like, his simplicity was the genius. It was, hey,
I 100% agree.
Yeah, we have number 23. We have the most physically imposing. He's the best player in the world. Let's make sure he is involved in everything we're doing. End of story.
Course.
Yeah, which was great.
And it just happened to be great that Kyrie Irving woke up and said, "Oh yeah, I'm a marquee player. Let me prove that." You know?
Well, did he wake up, or was he coached up by LeBron and Tyrone Lue? It almost felt like he was empowered. It's like they empowered him to finally say, "Hey, look, just go get buckets. That's what you do. You're not some cerebral point guard who's out there to set the table for everybody. Well, your skill is putting the ball in the basket. Just go do that. That's all you have to do." And
was it? Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Was it that, or was it? And I heard an interesting take. I forget who said it. He's, which broadcaster said it. He said, "This might not be Kyrie waking up. This has been the Kyrie that has always been there. This might be LeBron finally accepting the fact that Kyrie isn't your run-of-the-mill everyday point guard who's not going to get you 9, 10 assists every game. Kyrie scores the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he does. Russell Westbrook kind of does a little bit more of everything. But that's what Kyrie does. And if you let him help you a little bit, Jordan had Pippen. All these guys, Magic had Kareem, all these things. LeBron had D. Wade last time. If you let him take some of that load, and obviously he did when he hit that monster three, then you guys got a shot.
I think it's pretty telling that in that situation with the score tied, who had the ball in his hands? It wasn't LeBron. Yeah. It was Kyrie.
Well, that's a whole other,
But I don't say that's not a knock on LeBron. I think it's just more of a look. This dude has been lights out. Kyrie Irving earned that shot. He earned it by how great he played, and and it went with everything they were trying to accomplish the last 3 games was go at Curry. All this talk about how they're going at Curry like he can't play D. I don't think that was the reason that Cleveland did it. I think the reason they did it was you don't want to just give him a free pass on defense and just let him concentrate on offense. I don't think it's like go at Curry because he can't guard anybody. I don't think Curry's as bad of a defender as people say he is. I think it's more of a let's make this guy work. He's a little banged up. This guy's going to run through screens. This guy's going to switch. He's going to play both ends of the floor. And it just so happened that it coincided with a time that Kyrie Irving was fucking white hot for 9 days, just making shots. So
they needed everything to go right, and it looks like Golden State needed most stuff to go wrong for that to happen. And I think I said to you last time, I forget if it was on the show or not, I said one thing I noticed that, it was on the show, because then Timmy Legler said it right after. I said, why aren't they having Curry bring the ball up more? They're letting him get banged around.
Mm-hmm.
Which you see one play, and he gets banged around a little bit trying to run through 2 or 3 screens in the key to get the ball out on the wing. Doesn't look like much. But when you're doing that, 20, 30 times a game,
and you're injured,
take a toll on you.
Look, Golden State had if you look back at it, they had in a historically brutal playoff run with injuries and suspensions. Yeah. You just said it a minute ago. Everything had to go wrong for Golden State, and everything had to go right for Cleveland. Even to the point of Kevin Love getting a concussion was almost like that was an addition by subtraction. Like, that helped them. Kevin Love redeemed himself in Game 7. I have nothing bad to say about him. 9 points, 14 rebounds. I think he was plus 18. Plus or minus is like a weird stat that, That being said, he was very, very good, and he didn't hurt them. But, him missing some games and them... and I said it to you after Game 2 when Golden State blew him out. I said the only chance that Cleveland has is if LeBron James goes back to LeBron James from the finals of last year, where he literally tries to dominate every statistic, score 35 points, get 12 assists, get 12 rebounds, and just assert his physical dominance on the series. And he did it, and it culminated with that block.
Yeah, he needed to say unanimous MVP. F that. I'm taking this down, and that's what he did. I think to plus or minus on your stat, I think Golden State was minus 26, or plus 26 Bogut on the floor, minus 38 with him off. So that's a huge telling stat.
It is. It's just it takes options away from Steve Kerr. I'm not going to say Steve Kerr had a great series coaching. I don't know. He probably didn't. But at the same time, he was limited with what he had, and he was limited throughout the playoffs.
Superstars shoot 24% from downtown.
And we've said that all year long. Making shots makes everything look better. When you're making shots, it covers up everything else. And they made shots all year long until they didn't. And Charles Barkley is the happiest guy on the planet because he said it last year, jump shooting teams can't win titles. And he said it this year, they're not going to win. And he was right. They got cold at the wrong time.
Golden State lost 9 games all year. They lost 9 games total in the playoffs. That's pretty telling, too.
Well, they were without Curry, though. I mean, Curry hurt his knee, slipped on the sweaty Dantes Montejunas, the wet spot on the floor and hurt himself in the middle of the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, like we said, shit went wrong for Golden State, and they still were tied with a minute to go in Game 7 of the finals, with a layup to win the game that it took an extraordinary effort from an extraordinary athlete to block. I mean, hats off to Cleveland. They deserve to win it. I would say this. I think Golden State was, after Game 2, and then Clay saying all this stuff about we're better than Showtime Lakers. They'd beaten Cleveland, I think, at that point 7 straight times, something like that. They got a little cocky. I think they got a little cocky.
Right. And I think Steph's a little bit more hurt than we know. Who knows? I mean, I don't even want to talk about the offseason yet because we got next week and the week after.
The draft's around the corner. I mean, this news cycle is flowing. In about a week and a half, where there's going to be a press release talking about a partially torn MCL from Steph, something like that.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see what Boston does. In this they got every draft pick in the first couple rounds, so I'm very curious to see what Boston does. We'll talk about that. Everyone's speculating about where LeBron's going. He got them one. Is he done?
It's not going anywhere. He's not going. Cleveveland, I will
Unless
say
he
this,
can
though.
orchestrate all his boys on one team in L.A. He's not going anywhere.
No,
he
he's
wants
not.
to defend his title.
He's not going anywhere. He wants to win a couple, and that team is going to look very different next year. Like I said a couple times. Kevin Love gone. That's what I'm thinking. They're going to need a wing. Richard Jefferson is not the answer. He kind of retired, but I don't think he really did. But if they can flip Kevin Love,
does that count?
Say it again.
Did that Snapchat retirement? Did that count?
Dude, I don't know. He's still killing it. He was on Snapchat all day today playing beer pong and flip cup at Della Vadova's house or his apartment.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean he's murdering it.
I hope LeBron gets Carmelo to waive his no trade clause to go to Cleveland.
That would be great for that'd be great for you. That'd be great for the Knicks fans.
That'd be fantastic.
But you'd be proud of me. I was very nice to LeBron on the show today. I didn't rip him too much.
Good.
So he deserves it, man. Like after that performance was transcendent. That was something like we'll be talking about for many, many, many years to come.
He led both teams in points, rebound, assists, blocks, steals, everything.
First time that's ever happened. NBA.
That's the thing. There's a lot of those stats where you say exactly what you just said. First time that's ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
I always said sorry, I just walked up steps and then I got to run.
You sound like you're out of breath, man. How are the steps?
Yeah.
Tired?
I always wanted LeBron to lose. I never wanted him to get one. But the second he won one in Miami,
yeah,
I said, all right, enough with the bullshit from me. I said, now we can enjoy this guy. Because whenever we talk about greatest of all time, it's Jordan. And, we were younger for Jordan, even though that was very much our life. Whew. But when we talk, even Magic and Bird, we were young. You weren't so young. But when you talk about the Bill Russells and the Oscar
subtle
Robertson,
dig. Yeah.
That wasn't us. We are in our prime watching what could be the best of all time.
Bro, you can get on your knees and enjoy LeBron. I'm not there yet. All right, he was great. He's still. I'm good. I'll still be
All right, I'll
rooting
convince you
against him
next
at
week.
any point. Give me something pop culture. What do you got going on? What's going on with TV?
Culture.
Game of Thrones. How's your Game of Thrones going?
It's on hold, dude. Time Warner. I went on that rant last week. They cut my cable last week, and I just got it back today. But we're in the house, so I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. That's why I need to.
Dude, you got to catch up, man.
Get down.
Sunday's episode was one of the best episodes they've ever had.
Yeah, I know. I saw that online. Everyone was going nuts. I don't know what the hell anyone's talking about. I forget everything that happened already. I know Ned Stark's dead. That's like all I know.
That's all you need to know, right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, dude,
I'm the show the next couple of weeks. We got a great show coming up.
We do. We have a lot of guests coming up. We got Kedar coming back. We got into the $2 million TBT, which is coming up. So we're gonna have Dan Friel, who's the CFO of the basketball tournament, the tournament.com. Anybody out there want to follow us? We have some MMA guests coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we got Julian Solomita of the Julian and Jenna podcast. Jenna Marbles, that is, and Julian do a podcast from their house, and he's an all-knowing UFC guy, probably more so than anyone I've ever met. And then next weekend we got Cleveland native and diehard Browns Cavs fan Ed Ackerman coming back. He wants to
we
do
have a
little
big
book
show
burning.
next week because Kedar's coming back. Vanessa, see, next week or 2 weeks? Kedar.
Next week.
In 2 weeks.
He's in 2 weeks. Okay. I like it. We're
it'll be fun,
booked.
actually. He wants to do a book burning for the Whore of Akron.
What is the Whore of Akron?
It's by that dude Nicholas Robb, and I've heard his name, the R-A-A-B. I've heard his name so many times, like in the background on the radio, and I didn't know who it was. And he wrote the Whore of Akron, I think, when LeBron left.
All right.
Should be interesting. We'll get into that whole thing. I think this.
I love it. It's my favorite book. I'm going to
sociologically
gift
very-
everybody that
very
book for
impressive.
Christmas. The Whore of Akron. It sounds
Yeah.
fantastic. Well, dude, I'm glad you could call in. You were missed tonight.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for making room for me. Jeez.
Dude, Drolet and I were locked in, man. He was talking about his
You guys are-
journey. I mean, it
You
was
guys are
getting
cooking with
deep.
gas, man. Good
He was
stuff.
talking about his mom. He's talking about his dad. He was talking. I mean, it was like we were on inside the actor studio.
Nice.
I almost went
Very
for the tears, but I just let him go. He was
Firestone.
he killed it. I almost firestoned him. All right, buddy. Well, thanks for calling in.
All right, bud.
I will talk to you later.
If you're driving through here in the next hour or so, swing by my place. Help me move this couch down.
Done.
All right.
All right, Mikey. Later, buddy.
Later, guys.
All right, 10 minutes left, Vanessa. It's me and you. Turn that mic on.
Alrighty, hello.
Let's chit chat a little bit.
How's it going?
What do you want to talk about? Talk about some music.
It's music. Okay, so I feel really bad because I've been really busy with other side projects, work, and getting ready for Kedar's show in 3 weeks. And so I haven't really been able to download anything new this week. But I did look up what's out, and I'm excited. I am so excited. So today is the first official day of summer, as we all know. And so Betty Wap just came out with Cold Summer. And I know he's your favorite.
He's my favorite. Love his name.
So I'm sure you'll love that. And then a huge favorite of mine, Wale, came out with Summer on Sunset. And
Wale. How do you spell that?
W-A-L-E.
Okay. That's not whale.
No,
It's Wale.
Wale. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's actually been around for a while, so I'm surprised that you actually don't know who he is.
I know. I thought his name was Whale.
Oh my
So I've heard of him. I just mispronounced his name for all these years.
He's amazing. I love him. I actually went and saw him with my aunt a couple months ago, maybe sometime last year, and he lit a joint right there on stage, and it was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. Because I think it was the first time I've ever seen somebody smoke on stage, and then a couple, like I don't know, sometime later I went to Camp Flogna, and
Camp Flogna?
yeah, it's this thing by Tyler, the Creator. It was really cool. It's like, I actually did a Snapchat thing while I was there for Mostly Sports.
Okay.
Yeah, it was when we wanted to do like Find Mostly Intern.
Keep going.
But yeah, and Snoop Dogg ended up lighting a joint on stage, and it was really cool.
Okay. So that's why you like him. He smokes on stage.
Oh, my mic wasn't on.
Yeah, I was going to say your mic wasn't
Uh-huh.
on. There we go.
There we go.
We could still hear you, though.
Okay, well, great, because I talk so freaking loud.
You were talking loud, so you're good to go.
Um,
So Wale came out with an album.
yeah.
You're psyched. Fetty Wap's got a summertime album, like Will Smith's Summertime.
It's just a track. It's called Cold Summer, but the cover art looks really good. So that's usually what attracts me to a song first is the cover art. And honestly, I feel like I'm actually really good at picking music. Like the past, I think I've been because where I find my music, I find all of the latest albums and mixtapes and like single tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's stuff coming out every day. It's so stupid. Like Dave East puts something new out every frickin' hour, I swear. I've only listened to like 2 of his songs, but I feel like for the most part I've become really good at like picking which songs are great just based on the cover art.
Can I give you a couple songs that you can
Sure.
that you can go back and listen to that I think that you might actually enjoy?
Hit me with 2 right now.
Right now, I'm going to give you from the New Jack City soundtrack. All right.
Sounds so white.
New Jack City?
Yeah.
You've never seen that movie?
No.
Oh my God, New Jack City is one of the greatest movies. It's Wesley Snipes plays Nino Brown, drug dealer.
Oh my gosh.
Ice Cube's in it. This is a
Way off.
this is a movie that growing up in my generation was like a must watch. Where's the song? Oh, it's not on the soundtrack. It's by Naughty by Nature. Uptown Anthem by Naughty by Nature.
Naughty by Nature. Okay.
If you are working out and you don't get hyped to this song, I'm gonna be in complete shock. All right.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Uptown Anthem, great song. How about Big Daddy Kane? What do you know about Big Daddy Kane?
Nothing.
Big Daddy Kane, Pimpin' Ain't Easy.
Oh my gosh.
Another
That sounds really familiar.
Pimpin' Ain't Easy?
Yeah.
Oh, Big
just
Daddy
that
Kane
title.
was a legend. How about Cool Mo D, Wild Wild West? That might be a little
Wild
corny
Wild
for you.
West sounds familiar.
That was a movie with Will Smith. A lot of
Yep.
Will Smith references tonight.
Yeah.
Probably a few too many for my taste. Not a huge Will Smith fan. All right,
Really?
not a big Will Smith fan. He's from Philadelphia too. I think he's a terrible parent.
Oh, wow.
So all right, so Uptown Anthem, Big Daddy Kane, Pimpin' Ain't Easy. I'm gonna give you one more. God, I wish I'm trying to remember the name. It's by it's killing me. White rappers.
Macklemore, Eminem.
No. I'll think of it. Before I have 5 minutes to think of it.
Okay.
But go with those 2.
Okay. So you mentioned Jim song. So my latest one has been first round draft pick by Ace Hood.
Ace Hood.
It's so good. It is so good. Like honestly, I feel like I'm about to be drafted and they're just like, yeah, B Money. That's our first round draft pick. You know, it's really good. And then Ace Hood also came out with another song over the weekend, Father's Day. I haven't heard it, but like I said,
Father's Day, huh?
Yeah. And I haven't heard it, but Ace Hood just killed it with first round draft pick. I feel like he won't disappoint me with Father's Day. How was yours, by the way? Well, you're not a dad, but did you call your dad?
Not to get all weepy here, but my dad's dead.
Oh my god.
So I did not call him. I guess I could have gone to like a seance. And gone down to the Venice Pier and talked to one of like the fortune tellers.
Oh yeah, those
and talked to my dad like through the grave, like to the third dimension. I did not. I played in a tennis tournament, and then I went to work and worked Game 7. So it was a good Father's Day. I paid homage, But real quick, the third song I couldn't think of. It's by Third Base.
Third Base.
It's called "Step Into the AM."
Step Into the AM.
Okay. Yes. So what are your 3 songs?
That sounds like okay. It's Wild Wild West.
No.
Easy. No.
Pimpin' Ain't Easy. Forget Wild Wild West.
Okay.
Too corny for you.
Okay.
Pimpin' Ain't Easy.
Pimpin' Ain't Easy.
Uptown Anthem.
By
okay.
And
by Naughty by
then
Nature.
Naughty by Nature.
And Third Base, Step Into the AM.
Third Base, Step Into the AM.
3 fantastic songs that I think will actually be part of your gym rotation
Okay, got it.
to get you fired up.
Probably won't remember those within the next minute, so I'm just gonna go ahead and reference this clip once I do the editing for social postings for the next couple days, and then just save it for myself so that way I remember.
I cannot wait to get like a Snapchat from you where you're just killing it on the treadmill.
Oh my!
Jamming
honestly,
to Uptown
I
Anthem.
hate the treadmill. I actually got on yesterday because I haven't been getting on. And oh my gosh, my legs, I was shaking. I was only on for like 5 minutes. I did a minute at like 2.5 with a 12 incline, and then I went up to 3 resistance, and then the 3.5 and 4 and 4.5 within 5 minutes. And oh my god, I was dying.
Treadmills are for hamsters.
I
will retire the day that I have to get on a treadmill to exercise. I do not do treadmills in any way, shape, or form. How was your Father's Day? You had a good one? You called Pops?
Yeah, I called my dad in the morning. He moved to Texas, unfortunately, so I couldn't really see him, which is fine by me because, I mean, I love my dad, but we're just so different that, like, I don't know why. My dad just makes me so mad.
You're going to marry somebody just like your dad.
No.
Guaranteed.
Oh, my
like
gosh.
The exact same human being.
I could never. You know what? It's funny that you say that because the bread guy, actually, sometimes when I would talk to him, his logic, the way that he would think, it reminded me of my dad. And I was just like, I can't do this. I cannot.
I think all girls marry some form of their father.
No, unless I marry like a short brown man who doesn't make any sense ever, then I will marry my dad.
Welcome to your future.
No. Oh my gosh. Oh, that is the day that Vanessa will like no longer be on the earth.
Do you have any comedy dates coming up? You doing any stand up anytime soon?
Yeah, I'm okay. So I actually went last night because my sales class is over, so I'm finally have my Mondays again. And I went, and I was so happy. They remembered me, and I was just like, oh my god, because I feel like I'm not a very memorable person.
Incorrect.
And really, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very loved.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, and so I guess they're gonna be having like the third week of the month is gonna be like a girls only comedy thing, which should be cool. We'll see. And so they invited me to do that.
Like the Lifetime of comedy.
Yes,
like turning on the Lifetime channel.
Yeah, and honestly, it was so good to be back. Like everybody was just so funny. There was one guy from Boston who had me dying. He was talking about how he visited Canada, and like immediately he just wanted to say something mean. And I guess his girlfriend is from New York, and there was something going on, and she asked like, oh, what's going on here? And they're like, oh, we're filming Jumanji 2. And she was just like, fuck you, Robin Williams is dead, fuck you.
Yeah.
And the Canadian was just like, oh, sorry, okay, bye.
It's so nice, those Canadians.
So weird. It was so funny though.
I like it. Well, I'm looking forward to catching you on the stand-up train.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're very funny.
Yeah, because you guys haven't seen me yet.
We're waiting for you to hone your craft and tighten it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Then we're going to come in and we're going to represent you and turn you into a big star, get you a sitcom. Brian's going to write some scripts for you.
You know what? Honestly,
You're the next Mindy Kaling. You're the next.
My gosh.
You're the next Tina Fey.
You know what? I can only dream. Honestly, though, comedy is a pipe dream for me, but it's really fun, and it's a great, like, form of therapy, so, yeah.
9:01, I think we're going into overtime.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Sadly.
Well, I'll let you take us out, because I know that's your favorite
That's my
part.
least favorite. Freaking Scovotti. Well, hey, thanks, everybody, for tuning in if you made it this long. Brian Drolet, amazing guest, one of my favorite guests we've ever had on the show. Very entertaining. Got to learn his life journey. Got some great basketball talk, but more importantly, his freestyle was Hall of Fame worthy. We'll be back next week with a full show, many guests. Mike Scovotti will be back in studio, and we'll chop it up again. We'll see you next week. Drolet was good, wasn't he?
Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at UBNradio.com.